We'd show you them. We haven't got a camera on them.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, everybody.
Yeah,
But,
I know. She's... Oh,
There you go. Look at those.
Very nice.
We're missing one still, but we're working on it. We're working on retrieving it.
It's gone walkabout.
It has gone walkabout. There are names flying around the newsroom as to who may have pinched it. But anyway, we're...
Who?
Well, we're not going to say on air.
Say now.
Oh, sorry.
But,
Give me a clue.
Paul Coit is on the list.
But you're top of that list.
Oh, yeah, I thought so, yeah.
But anyway, we're working on getting it back, and then all four will be in their right.
In the rightful place.
Rightful place,
Absolutely,
exactly.
correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you fancy buying the house in Salisbury where Sergei Skripal was poisoned for £114,000?
It seems very reasonable.
It's now gone on the market. Well, can't you see why?
Well, yeah.
You'd be exposed to Novichok if
Well, you
bought
wouldn't
it.
be. It's all been completely made safe.
It's a piece of history you'd be buying, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, yeah, a bit of tragic history.
I know.
Oh, to be fair, this is a 30% share of the property being offered for £114,000, yes.
Oh, right.
It was added to a property website on Monday with no mention of its past.
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
Not really. Probably not, no.
I'll tell you what, if you want to live anywhere, Salisbury is a beautiful place.
Yeah, well,
Well-
there's an upside to it then, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's what the two gents said, didn't they? The two Russian gents said they went to
look at the cathedral. Yeah, wonderful
the
cathedral.
Spires, the
Yeah, yeah.
historic spires. So, yeah, if you are that way inclined.
How could anybody have doubted what they said?
Yeah, apparently it has been up for sale previously and only local people were invited to apply to buy it.
Yeah.
What, nobody from, like, overseas, like Russia?
Exactly.
Stop it.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Don't think we should be laughing about that.
No.
I don't.
Well, I'm not laughing about it.
Anyway, let us know what you think. GBnews.com/, you'll say.
Yes, right, let's crack on with the King, should we? Who's revealed his personal tax bill and some pretty astonishing facts about royal finances.
Yes, King Charles is the first monarch to ever release his tax records and finances, which revealed that he paid more than £30 million in tax since taking to the throne in 2022, including £12.9 million for 2024-2025 and £11.7 million for 2023 to 2024.
But this is the big news for you this morning. The King and Queen will not live, ever, at Buckingham Palace, even when the £370 million taxpayer-funded refurbishment has been completed.
Well, let's speak now to former royal butler to King Charles, Grant Harold. Very good to see you this morning, Grant. And this is the thing that may not sit well with people. £370 million for a palace that it looks like no royal is now going to live in.
Absolutely. I mean, I wasn't hugely surprised at this news because I remember many, many years ago when, odd enough, believe it or not, we had these kind of conversations. I remember asking him about what his title would be, and I didn't realise that it could obviously be Charles III, George VII, but also it was discussed about homes, royal homes. And I remember the word was that he possibly would never live at Buckingham Palace because Clarence House is obviously a place that he loves. It's where the Queen Mother spent time. His own mother lived there when she was the Duchess of Edinburgh. He's renovated it at great expense as well, and it's very much a family home. Buckingham Palace is very much the office. I think the money that's been invested is basically to secure it for future generations, and I can see it being more of a, to be realistic, a museum, if you like, but it's still used for ceremonial occasions.
What do you make of the sort of excuse that's been given, if you like, that if they were to move back in, it would restrict the number of visitors who could go?
It would, and also, I think the thing about the palace is it's from a different time, if I can say that. You know, the modern royal family, or as William has called it, a royal with a small r, it's going to be a very different royal family. I don't see Prince William wanting to live in these kind of palaces and to an extent the castles that they have done in the past. I think William wants it to be I want to say a kind of more manageable, if you like, and also they're aware of the amount of money. I mean, look at talking about the taxes. They're aware of how much it costs to run the monarchy. So I think this is very much in their minds. But again, the money had to be invested. I don't think the palace had. I mean, it's been rewiring and everything. It's been run, I think, even since I left. It's been run for years. And once it's done, then hopefully that will make it secure for many decades.
The King has great personal wealth as well, doesn't he? And it's
does.
growing all of the time.
Yes.
Do you think then the sovereign grant, which is also growing all the time, needs to be looked at? Do we need to be funding the monarchy to that extent?
It's difficult because obviously I know you talk about the Duchy of Lancaster, which is where he gets his when he was Duke of Cornwall. That's where the personal income. That's obviously his income. The sovereign grant goes towards the royal palaces. It goes towards the royal staff. It goes towards the travel. So it's used for these kind of things. It goes back. I mean, it goes back to, I think, the 1760s, when basically King George gave it to it was a civil list originally, and obviously he gets, I think it's 12% or something is what they get back. So they get a small amount back, if you like, from what they give over, even though it's big numbers. It is big numbers.
Yeah, it's just whether it's worth it. I mean, that's a big question. A lot of people sort of don't object to the fact that obviously the royal family have to be paid for. It's the whole value for money question.
I think when you talk about that, they also say how much it used to cost. I remember years ago, I used to say it was like a Snickers bar or a Mars bar. I think it's now that a first-class stamp or something is what it's, in theory, that's what they put it. But that's not including, obviously, other things like the security, because there's a lot goes into having a royal family.
Yeah, I suppose you can't really, you can't do it on the cheap if you're going to do it properly.
You can't.
What do you make of the King trying to be transparent here and sharing his tax bill? Do you think it was the right move by him, or do you think it could backfire? It's made the front page of most of the papers this morning.
It could backfire, absolutely. I mean, a lot of people are going to start questioning why is it costing so much, especially when a lot of people, let's be realistic, a lot of people struggle. The thing about the King, he is very transparent. He always has been transparent. We used to have the annual report when I was there, which was, kind of giving you all these kind of numbers and figures. So he's always wanted people to be aware of the running costs of his household and making it work. I think the reality is, the world we live in now, that's what we're talking about it. People are going to talk about it. People are going to question it. So it could backfire. But I still think and feel that the support for the monarchy going forward is still strong. And I do think, again, under William, I think it's going to definitely modernise in all areas.
Yeah. All right, Grant, good to see you this morning.
Likewise.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Now, 6:08, Shabana Mahmood, the Home Secretary, is set to sack her migration minister after he reportedly breached ministerial code.
Yeah, it's Mike Tapp. He's the MP for Dover and Deal. He penned an article without his boss's approval in which he basically contradicted her. He said migrant care workers should be given special exemption from Shabana Mahmood's migration overhaul.
Well, this comes as the Home Office reveals its plan to use more former military barracks to house thousands of asylum seekers in its quest to shut down migrant hotels.
Let's talk to the political editor for Times Radio, Anna Mihailova. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Look, can we start with Mike Tapp? What's going on? Because he must have known this would cause a bit of a storm. Is he trying to secure himself a job under Andy Burnham with writing this sort of letter?
Well, that is the claim being made by allies of Shabana Mahmood. But, this is absolutely extraordinary. I have to say, just a caveat, I was not involved in any of this article, so I don't know the ins and outs of how it was agreed. But Mike Tapp has written in the Times this morning where he is essentially unpicking some of what Shabana Mahmood has already announced, her tough measures on extending indefinite leave to remain for migrants from 5 years to 10 years, and saying that he is the migration minister, don't forget. He says, I have been working closely with officials to develop a better approach than a blanket retrospective extension from 5 years to 10 years for everyone. Now, this has sparked an almighty backlash from Shabana Mahmood's people, because it appears that she wasn't aware he was writing this, even though she's his boss. And they're saying that he is breaching the ministerial code by essentially talking about live discussions within his own department and her department without her say-so. But where it gets really interesting is this briefing came from a source close to Mahmood, who accused him of trying to win a job with Andy Burnham by doing this last night. But then journalists went to Number 10 for a response, and Number 10 doesn't seem to be wanting to get involved. So Mahmood might be saying he needs to be sacked, but it looks like Downing Street isn't keen to sack him, and it's not clear where the actual authority to do this lies.
Well, we're in no man's land, aren't we? This is the trouble.
Well, because the big unspoken thing is we have a Prime Minister who's only going to be Prime Minister for 3 more weeks, and essentially I think the gloves are slightly coming off, because we've had this bizarre week since Monday where everyone's been playing really nice, and all of his ministers, including Shabana Mahmood, went into cabinet on Tuesday, sat round the table with him. You can only imagine how odd that must have been the day after he quit. Everyone was saying, sort of in the party, saying warm words about him, saying how proper he was for resigning, what a good man. But what really happened was he was forced to have to resign because his cabinet snookered him. They said, if you don't quit, the show is going to end for you. And Shabana Mahmood was one of the more prominent people who told him to go. So I suspect what's going on in number 10 is they're thinking, well, you can sort this out then. This isn't our problem.
Can we also talk about the government ramping up the use of military barracks to house asylum seekers? We've seen how well this... Well, it hasn't gone down well at all in Crowborough, the use of the military barracks there. But we now know they're seeking to put 3,750 asylum seekers in more sites across the country and expanding the use of its sites in Crowborough and Wethersfield. Tell us a bit more about this.
Yes, so obviously this is all part of the government's move away from asylum hotels. So the Conservatives made great use of hotels, which were often right in the middle of communities, and really, really worried people, very understandably so. And Labour has been taking up people out of hotels. Those numbers have significantly reduced, but they've got to put them somewhere because obviously they have increased the numbers of deportations, but not to the extent that everyone has gone. So they are instead putting them in these military sites.
Yeah, it's a bit like moving deck chairs on the Titanic, isn't it?
I think it's a bit... I think most people think it's preferable to have them in military sites than in hotels, because some of these hotels have, have been on just normal streets, residential roads.
But it's not the silver bullet, is it? Because these military sites are often on the edges of leafy towns and they're worried about a drain on resources. That's what we've seen in Crowborough.
Absolutely. And, all those residents are always worried. I mean, people obviously do not like the idea of these migrants who've entered illegally being housed anywhere near them. No one ever wants it. To be honest, in the way that no one ever wants a prison next to them. No. But this is completely different. And the big question is why are they being allowed in the first place? Why are the boats still coming over in illegal crossings? And, of course, why aren't they being removed quicker?
Yeah.
All right. Anna, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. Now, Border Security and Asylum Minister Alex Norris on all of this has said that we promised to close every asylum hotel and hand them back to communities, and that is exactly what we are doing. 20 more hotels have been closed and hotel numbers have been more than halved since their peak. Instead, we're moving asylum seekers into ex-military sites that are a far cry from the hotels the last government left us with. This is a system being brought back under control, and we will not stop until the job is done.
Right, it's just hurtling towards 6:15. Also for you this morning, a boy aged 14 has been charged with murder by Gwent police after a female body was found during the search for a missing girl in South Wales. The body has not been formally identified, but it's believed to be that of a 14-year-old named only as Lily, who was reported missing.
The government is providing £2 million to help the emergency response to 2 earthquakes which struck Venezuela on Wednesday. So far, it's killed at least 235 people and injured over 4,000.
And the UK may have experienced its warmest June night ever after record temperatures of 36.7 degrees were recorded yesterday afternoon in Somerset. A rare red warning of extreme heat is still in place in parts of southeast England until 9 o'clock tonight.
Well, let's have a look at the weather picture, shall we? See what it's looking like today.
Yeah, Steph Golter joins us now. Good to see you this morning, Steph. I mean, this is every day we're reporting about record temperatures, and here we are with another one. Is it likely to be even hotter today?
It could be. With these heat waves, what we often see is one day getting warmer and then the next day getting warmer. So you wouldn't really have an extreme sort of temperature record one day, a flash heat wave. It would have to be over several days. This one's slightly different, though, due to the wind directions. So back on Wednesday, the winds were coming sort of from the north, from East Anglia and down to the south coast. That's why Gosport got the highest temperatures right on the south coast there. And then yesterday, the winds were coming in from the east. So they were heating up as they worked their way towards the west. And that's why it was Somerset that saw the highest temperature. This time, there's always a change. It's coming up from the southwest, so it's going to be probably the east, maybe East Anglia, that we see the extremes of temperatures today. Will it be a record breaker? That will be told at around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon.
rare red heat warning, haven't we? Why was it extended? We now know that it's going to hold until 9 p.m. tonight.
It was extended because at first it looked like Wednesday and Thursday were going to be the extreme of the heat, but then the clearance happened that little bit slower. So in the east, that hot weather is still clinging on for that little bit longer. So that's why it's been extended to today as well.
It does seem we can't get a grip of the weather at the moment, Steph, doesn't it? It goes from being... I still can't get over the fact it was miserable and cold just a couple of weeks ago, and now we're facing these sort of extreme temperatures. What does it tell us about what we could expect this summer, or is that just too far away to judge at the moment?
Well, there is one train of thought that now the ground has sort of been baked hard and the soil level, the moisture levels in the soil are really quite low, that we could see more extremes as we go through the summer. But as you know, living in England for however long, you know, the summer can be somewhat unpredictable. So we'll have to wait and see on that one.
And we're talking about it cooling off this weekend, aren't we, Steph? But it's not really. It's still going to be pretty hot.
Well, it's going to be warm, but not crazy warm. So things do cool down. And by next week, we're nearer the average. So, you know, mid to low 20s as a maximum, which is a lot better, a lot more bearable. I think most people can cope with that. Whereas when it gets to 30 degrees, it becomes quite dangerous. You know, some people who are vulnerable can't cope with it at all and need medical help. And other people, well, like me, this is the best time of the day. You know, It's about 22, 23. But straight after this interview, I'll be running inside, barricading myself in, shutting doors, curtains, and putting those ice packs, those sports ice packs all over my body and staying like that for the rest of the day.
Yeah, all right, off you go, Steph. I don't blame you either. Good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks,
I have to say, I noticed when I got up this morning, 3 o'clock, it was 22.5 degrees where I live.
Oh.
And it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's hot, isn't it?
But it is a beautiful time of day to be outside. It's just really pleasant. A bit
really,
dark,
really nice.
but pleasant.
Yeah, my friend's getting married this weekend. And the celebrations start today. I checked the weather and it's 34 degrees estimated to be where they're getting married. It's hot, isn't it?
But it is tomorrow. The wedding's tomorrow.
The wedding itself is tomorrow, so it would have cooled off a little bit.
But yeah, that's not bad.
Not too bad at all.
Good.
Better than rain.
Oh, heck, of course. We should stop.
Yes.
Do you know what? We should stop whinging about...
We should.
I know it gets a bit unpleasant and a bit sticky, but do you know what? We don't get it that often, do we?
Yeah.
So let's just enjoy it.
Yeah. Speaking of the weather, let's have a look at the picture where you are with Alex Burkill.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, tomorrow, and we'll be covering it, it's Armed Forces Day, but that means it's all part of Armed Forces Week. I don't know why these things work out the way they do, but anyway, it is time, and we should make the most of it, to recognise and honour the incredible work of our serving military, but also our veterans, and we'll do that in a moment.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
6:25, and this week Brits right across the country are acknowledging the sacrifices made by serving and former military personnel as it's Armed Forces Week.
Well, RAF veteran Alan Bell says the support of the Royal British Legion has been life-changing after the charity came to the aid of his wife, who has a chronic spinal condition.
Well, Anna Riley has the story.
A lifetime of memories. Alan Bell joined the RAF as a painter and finisher, looking after aircraft. In his 23 years of service, Alan was deployed to a number of conflicts, including the Gulf War. He met his wife Tracy Ann when he returned to civilian life, and Alan is proud of his time in the forces.
The actual Gulf War, it was during this Scud missile sort of crisis, if you like. And I found that quite worrying because it was so random. If somebody points a rifle at you and intends to kill you, that's one thing. But these missiles were just fired into nowhere. One of the camps got hit. A lot of US servicemen got killed. And RAF regiment fellas went in to help. And the effects of war are clearly not nice. But if it was done for the right reasons, it had to be done.
The Royal British Legion support veterans like Alan and their families.
There is a lot of veterans struggling, and pride is a bit of a thing. You know, they're not going to come forward and ask. You know, the RBL is going out there kind of looking for these people.
Armed Forces Day is held across the UK to support current and former military personnel. Alan and Tracy Ann always attend the annual event in Cleethorpes to honour those who protect the nation.
It's huge. You know, those men and women, even now, today, are still losing lives, limbs. You know, they're struggling with PTSD. It's important that they're recognised. Absolutely.
Supporting our sailors, soldiers and aviators. This week, the nation celebrates our armed forces community and all they do to keep us safe. Anna Riley, GB News, Grimsby.
All right, should we talk to someone who knows all about it?
Yes, let's speak to Acting Lance Corporal Jeremy Armstrong. Really good to see you this morning. What does Armed Forces Week mean to you?
It's just pride, to be honest. I'm very proud to be part of the Royal Air Force Auxiliary Regiment.
Well, I imagine, I don't know if are you still, we thought we'd lost you for a second there. Look, in all of this, I mean, there's a lot of questions at the moment around the armed forces, particularly when it comes to funding, resources, all that sort of thing. How do you deal with it? How do you deal with serving and being willing to put your life on the line whilst there's all this hoo-ha going on around you?
That's not really something that I concern myself with. I concern myself with being ready and prepared to do what I need to do. The politics around it is not for me to deal with.
Do you use this week as well as a time of reflection for those who have lost their lives, those that struggle when they leave the armed forces, or is that something that's always with you? You don't need a week for that kind of remembrance and reflection?
That is always with me. My grandfather was in the Durham Light Infantry in Burma. My father served for most of his life. He was a regular and also a reserve in the regiment, as I am. So, yes, it's always with me.
Yeah, there's questions in all of this about veterans. Once you're out of this, and veterans, particularly those who need support, a lot of it is down to organisations like the Royal British Legion, charities, mental health charities like Heads Up and Combat Stress and all these sort of things. Do you think there should be more in the military covenant, you know, more support for when you get back to Civvy Street properly?
I think there should always be support for veterans, but again, that's not something that I deal with at the moment. I've just got to be concerned with being properly trained, being properly fit and ready to go.
Well, Jeremy, thank you so much for your service and thank you so much for joining us this morning on GB News Breakfast.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And we'll be marking it a lot more tomorrow as well here on Breakfast. But now it's time for the Daily Reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, I'm Reverend Micah, Vicar in the Church of England. Every parent or anyone who's spent time around children knows that they have a deep sense of justice. It's not fair they groan. Now, we learn those words young, but we never really grow out of them. See, whether it's corruption, unjust wars, or simply being treated badly at work, there's something deep within us that longs for justice. We don't want to live in a world where the powerful can simply do as they please and get away with it. Now, the Christian faith says that this longing is not naive. One day Christ will return to judge the living and the dead, and on that day every wrong will be righted and every injustice will be answered. The world will finally be put right. But there's a problem. See, when I demand justice, I usually think of the things that other people have done and less of the ways that I've been unfair. that I've wounded others, that I've acted unselfishly. And so how can God's justice be good news for me? Well, the Bible's claim is that the judge stepped into the dock in our place. At the cross, Christ took the punishment that we deserved so that justice is satisfied, but mercy can be freely given to all who will receive it.
And that's our daily reflection on this Friday morning.
Right, it's just gone 6:30, and if you're travelling to work or school today, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A14 westbound entry slip road at junction 21 in Cambridgeshire is closed after a vehicle fire, expected to reopen around 7:30 a.m. A similar incident fully closed all lanes between junctions 22 and 13 near Thrapston, Northamptonshire. In Swindon, the A14 northbound section between the M4 and A4259 is partially closed, with normal traffic flow expected after 6:30 a.m. And on the trains, significant disruptions occur between London St Pancras International and Bedford on East Midlands Railway due to unusually hot weather. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Now, do stay with us. Still to come, Paul Coit has got all of your sports news for you.
Well, little World Cup update. We'll do in just a second, but it doesn't look good for Scotland. We've gone from 45% chance of staying in the World Cup, now down to just 5%. And I'll tell you more in just a second.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dawdney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
All right, Paul is here at 6:36 morning.
Good morning. I feel a bit low. Am I low down?
really
low down.
low.
There we are. How's that? Is that better?
There we are.
That's it. I feel so much better
You're
now.
back in the room.
It doesn't look good for Scotland. It really doesn't look good for Scotland. I'll try and go through this a little bit here because the top... this is in the World Cup, obviously. The top 8, Ellie, now concentrate with this, because I know your eyes are going to glaze over when I start talking about numbers and stuff with standings. The top 8 of the 12 third-place finishers...
I've lost you.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Good, OK, we're down to 1.
Yeah.
The top 8 will then go into the last 32, the knockout bit. So that's where Scotland need to be. So only 4 teams that come third are eliminated. So where Scotland are at the moment, they're currently in 8th. So they're at the bottom. So they're now still in there, but there are still games to go. So as I said earlier, 42% chance it was yesterday of them getting through has now gone down to 5% because results went totally against them. Ecuador beat Germany. That was never going to happen. It was ridiculous. I think they're conspiring against the Scots. So anyway, below them in the rankings now, you've got Cape Verde, a 1 point behind.
Cabo Verde.
Play Cabo Verde.
Yeah.
1 point behind. They play Saudi Arabia. Maybe OK. Maybe well, if they lose, Scotland will be OK. Now, Belgium. This is the main problem. Belgium are only 1 point behind, and they play New Zealand tonight. There's no way that New Zealand are going to beat Belgium.
What? You said that about Ecuador.
I did. That's a very, very good point.
It's a fantastic point.
Yes.
Come on, New Zealand.
Not only was it a very good point, it was an excellent point, well made. I'd say as well. What about Congo then?
We also said that we'd beat. Who was it the other day?
I don't know.
Who did we play?
Oh, Ghana.
Ghana. Yeah. We said we'd beat Ghana, and look at that.
OK.
So I think it's actually quite unpredictable.
Right. So what you're saying...
So
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying,
that's what we're saying.
It's all to play for.
Congo are 2 points behind Scotland.
Yeah.
And you know who they play tonight?
No.
That's right. Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan.
Yes, and they're 2. So... And finally...
Come on, Uzbekistan.
Yes, finally, Senegal are 3 points behind, and they play Iraq tonight.
Come on, Iraq.
So, yes, so there's a chance, that 5% chance it's still there. But
come on, Iraq.
There we are.
There are a lot of moving parts.
You know what I really need?
What?
A New Zealand T-shirt.
It's a New Zealand T-shirt and a whiteboard or something that I can point
we've got one over
with a
there.
stick. Can I use one of those and do a bit of this and that?
We can make that work.
So Ecuador beat Germany 2-1. South Africa beat Korea. Who would have thought that? Not me. Sweden drew with Japan 1-1. But that's the crazy World Cup for you.
It is crazy.
That's where we are. Right, now the cricket. Let's look at that. Not much chance for England, which means probably they're going to turn things around. Third test at Trent Bridge. England lost the toss and New Zealand batted. They were 300 without loss. England then got 4 wickets late, so 361 for 4. A long, hot day in the field in Nottingham for England yesterday.
Oh, it would have been.
It's going to be another long, hot day. Now, the one I'm most excited, it's all very well talking about the World Cup, it's all very well talking about the cricket, but this is the thing I'm most excited about. You know what a huge Elvis fan I am.
Yes.
Maybe you didn't, but if you did, this is incredible. And I still cannot, for the life of me, work out how this has happened.
OK.
But Sunderland now have an association with the Elvis Presley estate.
Right.
This is Sunderland Football Club. So their away kit, it's a multi-year deal.
It's money well spent, isn't it?
It's really, it's just so bizarre. So look, this is some of the shirts. I think that one is, that's probably from the lifestyle. Now that is the away shirt.
All right.
It's the pink and black. It's inspired by Elvis when he was on the Louisiana hayride back in the early 50s, probably about 1955, 56. So that's the away kit. And inside the neck, it says, "Can't help falling in love with you." It's so bizarre. And it's launched tomorrow, which 26th of June, 1977, was when Elvis played live for the very last time. When he stood on stage and said, "Lisa Marie, Daddy's got to go on stage right now. I just want to say Dad loves you." Which, by the way, I tried to get Kurt Russell to do when he was in Elvis the movie, and he refused to do it when I met him. But that's another story. But anyway, the shirts, look, and there's a video for this. I'm just so confused by the whole thing. But Elvis and Sunderland, there is a link. and the new Sunderland kits and their lifestyle.
Sorry, if you're going to pay all that money to Graceland for the rights to do that, where are the rhinestones?
That's what
rhinestones.
That's what the tracksuit should be, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, Spurs, the new Chicory Tip-inspired shirts will be available from next week.
Very good.
Chicory Tip. Remember checking the mic?
Son of my father.
Thanks, Coity.
Thank you.
Now, it's the final day.
Oh,
to
it
see
is
how
today.
Oh,
you could win £76,543.21.
Thank heavens, frankly, because we're getting tired of saying it, aren't we?
It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? But anyway, it's a lot of money.
It's a lot
and
of
it's
money.
tax-free, and it could all be yours. Here are all the details that you need.
A very warm welcome from Paphos in Cyprus. I am here at the Imperial Island Resort, where we are literally counting down the hours and the minutes until the end of our summer giveaway. You could be winning £76,543.21. Wow. Just think about what you could spend all of that amazing cash on. Would you put a brand new car in the driveway? Would you come on holiday somewhere like here? Maybe you would treat your family or your friends, or perhaps you'd just sit back, relax, and take any of those financial pressures away. Remember, this amount of cash is completely tax-free, so you will receive every single penny. But what are you waiting for? You've got to be in it to win it, because lines close at 4 p.m. today.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes,
best
good
of
luck.
luck.
Now, do stay with us still to come. The Telegraph has reported that rapists, killers and sex offenders will be part of the 6,000 inmates that are released early from prison come September.
Yeah, we'll have more on that in the papers with Anna Mihailova and Kai Wilshaw.
But first, here's your forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Looking ahead to the weekend, and the historic heat across some parts of Europe will continue. Over more southern areas, it's not as exceptionally hot here, but nonetheless, it will feel pretty hot with all the sunshine around. Worth bearing in mind, we have high humidity as well, and with the hot and sunny weather, that will allow for a few showers to develop, and if they do, they could turn heavy and also thundery. But generally, the theme is for lots of dry, sunny weather to come as we go through into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Became the norm. Friends just became family, and I just kind of found my love in the streets, really.
And then did that then lead to stuff with knives?
Yeah, so I was stabbed by 15, and then my best friend passed away in my arms from a stab to the heart. So I'd already had quite a experience with knife crime at that point.
I think in life it's important to give people a second chance, and especially when you come back and you were using this to such a positive thing, and actually, and your kits already, as you say, have saved several lives, and hopefully it's not even about the saving of lives in that sense, is it? It's if you can prevent people from getting in the situation you were in the first place.
This is where education's important.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Crew of injured and wounded veterans and serving personnel have completed a historic sailing expedition around the UK, carrying the Invictus Games flag.
Yes, it's called the Full Circle Sailing Expedition, and it embarked on a momentous 12-week journey, having sailed 2,000 miles around the UK to complete the whole full circle.
Well, it's supported more than 500 injured veterans, and the charity is raising £300,000 to fund their mission to support veterans right across the nation.
Everybody on that boat has a part to play. It's everybody gets involved in safely moving that boat from A to B, and like you said, it's that camaraderie and being a part of a team, and you could say to some extent having that mission.
GB News, the People's Channel. GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Come here. Is it a love for the royal family, for the kind of the British pageantry? What is it?
You know what? Both of those things. I do have a love for the British royal family. I have been royal watching since I was in the 5th grade. That was a long time ago. I watched Indian Style when Lady died, married then Prince Charles, and now he's the king. And I mean, I just love the parade troops, all of that. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing.
Which royals do you think you're most looking forward to seeing as that procession comes down the mall a little bit later?
King. I want to see the king. I love seeing the king and the queen because I'm of that era, actually. The Prince Charles, King Charles era. So I always look forward to seeing the king, but of course the Prince and Princess of Wales.
Well, I think you're going to have a very easy job spotting you in the crowd.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Welcome back. We're going through the papers this morning with Anna Mihailova, political editor for Times Radio, and GB News contributor Kai Wilshaw. Morning, you two. Anna, let's start with you, shall we? This is actually our top story on the show today. The King will never live at Buckingham Palace. That's despite £370 million going on its refurbishment.
Yeah, I mean, no more Buckingham Palace, end of an era. So we've had a royal there since Queen Victoria. I think the Queen, the late Queen, moved out just before the end. She relocated to Windsor, but she did use it until then. And King Charles says no, that even when the refurbishment's done, he will be based at Clarence House. Now, we've always known he hates Buckingham Palace. Even when he was Prince of Wales, it was not his favourite palace. So I think there's something a bit more going on here beyond just we don't want palaces in general. I think he's never been a fan of Buckingham Palace.
I mean, I know people will say, well, what, you've spent 370 million quid. It was literally falling apart on the inside. So the money needed to be spent. To use it as an HQ, it's not necessarily a bad idea, is it?
No, and look, historic buildings in this country to renovate cost an eye-watering amount of money. I think people forget that if it's a Grade 1 listed building or something. But I'm sort of minded to wonder, where does this go next? I mean, we know they don't really use it very much. They use it for big formal state occasions, and that's exactly right. But if the big argument for keeping the monarchy is that so many people come to see the pomp, the glamour, the British version of glamour, then why not open it up even more? What can you do with Buckingham Palace while they're not there?
But I think they might be missing the trick a little bit, because as a tourist, if I've gone round a big palace, one of the fun bits of that is thinking that they're upstairs in some room staying there. So if they're relocating completely and making it just a house that's not used, then perhaps it might not have the same appeal.
Maybe.
There is also a cost of soft power that we speak so much about, and the King did such a wonderful job in the US, didn't he, with the President? And can you even put a cost on that?
No, I really think they need to. I understand this drive for a new modern style of monarchy, a slimmed-down monarchy. We hear that Prince William wants to choose a small number of really important causes to him that he'll focus on and drive. But part of the appeal is that they are more present, the royal family. That people like Princess Anne going around the country constantly, total workhorse. And I think people want to see a bit of that, and they want to see that soft power expressed in different ways, in creative ways, and in ways that actually they can see tangibly help the country. The Donald Trump thing was such a wonderful moment in time because nobody else could have done that. That was such a uniqueness of the royal family's role. And to lose that would be a huge, huge mistake.
Can we have a look at the Telegraph and early release from prisons, Kai? Because we're now learning that killers, rapists, other sex offenders will be amongst criminals being released early, so they'll serve less than half of their sentence rather than the 2/3 that those serious offenders are required to serve. This isn't what the early release thing was about, was it? It was about releasing those prisoners at the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, so prisoners convicted of manslaughter, rape and GBH sex offences might be eligible for release halfway through their sentences rather than the current 2/3. I think the Conservatives had a sort of similar plan to bring down the period of your sentence that you have to have served. But nonetheless, Nick Timothy's coming out saying this is reckless and insult to victims. The government will say, obviously, that ultimately this is about stopping prisons from being totally full. We've come really close in the last few years, haven't we? I mean,
when it comes to rapists and killers, that's a different... I mean, that's different, isn't it?
It has to be public at risk, isn't it?
It has to be case by case. I'd imagine that's what the Ministry of Justice will be stressing, because you can see every case is different, and I'd imagine that there are some instances where actually the term is so long, but that the behaviour and other factors are such that, and the care in the community and things like that are such that they feel it wouldn't be a danger to people. But I don't think that will fly with most people who see this headline and think, oh my God, I can't trust the people in the streets.
Anna?
Every time I see a story like this, I always think, why can't we build more prisons? Just one or two. I don't understand it.
Well, I've just had a quick look on the government website, and it says it is expanding capacity, so 14,000 additional places by 2031. But this is
That's not new prisons. Just build some new prisons.
Look, a Ministry of Justice spokesperson said without this action, prisons would run out of space entirely, making it impossible for offenders to be sent to prison. But release people who aren't killers or rapists, I think, would be the key to that.
Well, the other fly in the ointment, of course...
Because the other issue is, as you say, getting people... And I know there are people who do turn their lives around, and that's fine. But they still have to be released out on a certain licence. They've got to be monitored by probation and all the rest of it. Probation is stretched beyond its very limits at the moment. So, actually, that's extra level of care, isn't there?
Yeah, and people would have more trust in all of this if prisoners didn't end up sort of moseying out of prisons left, right and centre. We had that last summer with Hadush Kabatu, of course. So they need to sell a story. I don't think this will happen anyway. David Lammy's off.
You two, thank you. We'll see you later.
Here's a check now on your weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England, eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights.
Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M74 is restricted southbound at junction 13, Abington interchange, due to debris. In Cambridgeshire, a vehicle fire closed all lanes on the A14 westbound entry slip at junction 21 and between junctions 22 and 13 near Thrapston. In Swindon, a broken-down vehicle blocks one lane on the A419 northbound between the M4 and the A4259, with normal conditions expected shortly after 7 this morning. And on the trains, hot weather may cause major disruption on East Midlands Railway between London St Pancras International and Bedford. And on the Elizabeth line to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Hello from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The King and Queen will never live at Buckingham Palace.
King Charles confirms that he and Queen Camilla will stay at Clarence House, ending nearly 2 centuries of royal tradition.
Well, the announcement comes as the King also reveals his personal tax bill for the first time in what the palace says is a move towards greater transparency.
Well, I spent more than 5 hours yesterday in Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace going through all of these financial documents for you, so you don't have to. I'll bring you all the lines, and as you say, Buckingham Palace no longer going to be lived in by a monarch.
The government announces more former military bases are set to house asylum seekers as another 20 migrant hotels close.
Even now, today, are still losing lives, limbs. You know, they're struggling with PTSD. It's important that they're recognised.
Quite rightly, it's Armed Forces Week, where the nation can recognise those who serve. We should do that every day of the week, frankly, and remember that support should be available for veterans long after their military life ends.
The June heatwave continues to grip the nation as scientists say this month's record-breaking heatwave would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago.
The heat is still a major talking point today, particularly in parts of the southeast. Otherwise, we've already seen a fair few thunderstorms kicking off, these becoming largely confined to Scotland through the bulk of the day. I'll have more details coming up.
And sport this morning, well, some results last night really didn't help Scotland's chance of qualifying for the last 32. They're hanging in there, but just about. In cricket, England have some late success after a tough day in the field against New Zealand. And the link between Sunderland and the king of rock and roll.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. Loads of you getting in touch on Armed Forces Week, as we knew you would. Phil in Appleton says it needs to be Armed Forces Month. Yes, as you said, they need to be remembered every single day, don't they? It shouldn't just be 1 week a year.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's... I would disagree, actually, because I think it's important to highlight it, but I still think they should be more at the forefront of our minds, like they are in the States, where people are really recognised for their service.
Somebody to get in touch and say we need to treat our veterans like they do in the States.
Joe has been in touch, Joe Holden, who messages quite a lot, actually, and I know he's a veteran, and I know he's been suffering from some ill health, so we continue to wish you the best, Joe. He says, I will be celebrating Armed Forces Day and having a barbecue for 60 tomorrow, including some ex-army mates. So good on you, Joe. I think we just do need to remember everything that they do.
And thank them, yeah.
Well, frankly, yes, because it's... You know, whatever you think of it all, these are people who are willing and prepared to put their lives on the line. And even if they don't actually see combat, they are prepared to put their lives on the line for the rest of us.
Yeah.
And, of course, a lot of them do lose their lives, and a lot of them lose limbs and have, you know, lifelong conditions, actually, as a result of everything. So it does need to be marked and remembered and shown a bit of respect.
Yeah, and on that note, Mickey G finally has been in touch saying, rest in peace to my father who died in action. You were always in my thoughts, but especially during Armed Forces Week.
Quite right, quite right. I mean, I just think it's really important to keep these sort of traditions alive, actually. That we need to, you know, really remember what people do for us. And it all ties in, I know people who serve often don't get involved in the political side of it all. But it's why it's such an important political argument at the moment, because we are showing that we're not putting enough into the defence of our country, as the Defence Secretary said as he quit his job. And that's really important, because it's not just about the way we're getting all the equipment in and everything else. It's about the people we're asking to protect us without the right resources.
And the homes we're expecting to put them in as well. Just finally from Scott, talking about Buckingham Palace, the King and his tax bill. Last year, the royal family generated £647 million for this country, not counting the money that came in after royal visits. It's amazing the contracts that British businesses get after a royal visit to a country. So all of that needs to be considered when we're talking about value for money. Very interesting point.
Just a quick point, because I've just seen it, and it's on a different story entirely. But, you know, we're talking about migrants and you putting them in more ex-army bases, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Glenn's just been in touch and said some army camps should be used for low-category prisoners, because we're running out of prison places and they're releasing people early. Oh, wait, we're turning them into all-inclusive hotels. Well, not quite, but they are, you know... It's not a bad idea. If you can turn them into hostels for migrants as they supposedly await deportation, if we solve that problem, then yes, they could be easily converted into low category, category A prisons.
Well, let's know what you think. Loads of views coming in on all sorts of issues, so do keep them coming in. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Anyway, our main news this morning, King Charles has revealed his personal tax bill and some pretty astonishing facts about royal finances.
Well, to take us all through it, GB News royal correspondent Cameron Walker is here. Morning to you, Cameron.
Good morning, Ellie and Stephen. Yes, the first time, of course, that the British monarch has published his income tax. £12.9 million is what King Charles paid last financial year. That makes him in the top 100 UK taxpayers. Meanwhile, Prince William, his son, heir to the throne, of course, paid £7.76 million. Between them, since the King ascended the throne in 2022, more than £50 million there. But the big headlines on all of the front pages this morning is that Buckingham Palace is unlikely ever to be lived in by a British monarch again. And that is despite 370 or almost 370 million pounds of public money being spent on the resurfacing, which is due to be finished next year. Now, we were always told that when this resurfacing was happening, that the King or the Sovereign would move back into Buckingham Palace once works are complete. But the King and the Queen have decided that they will remain in Clarence House. As for Prince William, well, he's saying, sources close to him, I should say that Forest Lodge, the 8-bedroomed room mansion in Windsor, where he resides with his family, is his forever home. So he's probably not going to be moving into it either. The other big problem with Buckingham Palace, of course, was all of the very old heating and electricity cables, meaning that it was a huge risk of a catastrophic flood or a fire. And that is why it was justified, in their eyes, for the huge amount of money being spent on it. But a lot of people are asking questions this morning, even. Sorry, I'll move on and speak to Stephen and Ellie in a minute. Is it actually worth that particular money?
It's one of those issues, isn't it, where would we just get rid of it? You know, just because the royals aren't living there, or is it an important statement piece? Is it an important piece of history, an important office for all of that? I mean, there would be absolute uproar, Cameron, wouldn't there, if we suddenly said, well, the King's not going to live in it, therefore we'll get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. I think what the King is basically saying, or sources close to him, is that he wants it to be for the wider public good rather than his private use. So he's still going to retain a suite of rooms. He's still going to be hosting official investitures, garden parties and state banquets and all the rest of it there. But he's probably not going to sleep in there overnight. There is the option occasionally for him to do so, but I highly doubt he is going to be doing that. As for a sovereign grant itself, now that is calculated with a percentage of the profits of the Crown estate that the King has surrendered to the Treasury. It's a very small percentage, or at least it was, only 12%. It's actually now moving to 20%. Now, that was agreed between the Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves and the King's Keeper of the Privy Purse. And what that essentially means is that in 3 years, the sovereign grant funding for the royal household is doubling to almost £100 million. 3 years ago, it was 51 million. Now, you know, people in the royal household were telling us yesterday that this is subject to the same checks and balances as any other government department. It's not the government writing a blank cheque to the sovereign. It's been agreed that that money is essential to carry out the public work of the monarchy. And let's not forget, it was only a couple of months ago that King Charles went to the United States, where President Trump then waived a tariff on Scottish whisky as an example, bringing millions of pounds to the Scottish economy and, by extension, the United Kingdom economy. And President Trump said, no other man would have persuaded me to do that other than King Charles. So that is the kind of value for money they are talking about here.
And you can't really put a price on that soft power that we talk so much about, can you, Cameron? Do you think that the British public will appreciate this level of transparency? As you say, it's the first time that a monarch has published his tax bill in this way. Or do you think it could backfire as people realise the amount of personal wealth he has and the amount that it costs the taxpayer?
Of course, because it's not just the sovereign grants that we're talking about here. He also has the Duchy of Lancaster. Prince William has the Duchy of Cornwall, providing them both a private income. But something that Prince William has done that he's announced last night is that the £1.5 million of rent that he gets from the Ministry of Justice, i.e. taxpayers' money for Dartmoor Prison. Remember, a couple of years ago, huge controversy. He has instructed his staff that he does not want to personally benefit from that money. Instead, it's going to be reinvested back to the local community, which is really struggling at the moment around that derelict prison. So I suspect we're going to see more of that going forward from Prince William, at least, as he tries to modernise the monarchy.
That's interesting, isn't it?
That
All
is.
right, Cameron, for now, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Cameron. Now, at 10 minutes past 7, the Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood is set to sack her migration minister after he reportedly breached ministerial code.
Mike Tapp is the MP for Dover and Deal, penned an article without his boss's approval in which he demanded migrant care workers are given special exemptions from his boss's migration overhaul.
Well, this comes as the Home Office reveals its plan to use more former military barracks to house thousands of asylum seekers in its quest to shut down migrant hotels.
Let's talk to political editor for Times Radio, Anna Mikhailova. What's he up to, Mr Tapp, with this?
Well, Mr Tapp has written a very interesting and insightful article in The Times, which I recommend watchers to read today, because he's giving a real insight into the actual policies they're talking about. He is the Minister for Migration, so he's given a couple of examples of things that are currently across his desk that they're considering. And what's extraordinary about this is this doesn't seem to have been sanctioned by the Home Office. So his boss, Shabana Mahmood, last night was apparently furious. And where it gets really interesting is now this is turning into an almighty row between the Home Office, Shabana Mahmood, and Number 10, because Number 10 doesn't seem to be budging about this. Number 10 isn't sacking Mike Tapp. And you've got this very strange situation where we've got a briefing war now where sources close to Mahmood are accusing Mike Tapp of just trying to win a job with Andy Burnham by essentially what he's doing is talking about slightly watered-down measures of what she's been planning to announce on the rules on migrants being allowed to stay. And then we've got Downing Street sources telling journalists that Shabana Mahmood is disloyal, and what should she expect? That it's a bit rich for her to be saying anything when she was one of the first ministers to tell Keir Starmer to go.
Do you think that Shabana Mahmood is safe in her job as Home Secretary, or do you think potentially somebody else might step in?
I think all of the signals from Andy Burnham when he was running for Makerfield and since he's won it is that he is going to stick with Shabana Mahmood. Note that the speech he gave talked about HMO Britain. She was one of the only cabinet ministers he actually praised by name during his campaign. So. There is a very interesting tension there because a lot of MPs on the left of the party who really don't like what Shabana Mahmood has been doing and have been basically waiting for her to be out, they're going to be really uneasy with Andy Burnham suddenly backing her.
Which is interesting because, I mean, a lot of the talk has been, as we heard from Donald Trump in the Oval Office the other day, he's very liberal, very, very liberal, which is obviously the appeal with the backbenchers. However, he's not going to be able to afford to be that liberal, is he, to keep the country on track?
Well, mostly because of the seat he's in. So he's already said that he's going to apply a Makerfield test to politics. And listen, I've been out in Makerfield, a lot of us journalists have over the last few weeks, and people really care about migration there. They really, really are worried about its impact on jobs and on crime, as you see in a lot of parts of the country. But there's that real concern there, and he has to answer to his voters now. He's going to have to address those concerns.
Well, talking about those concerns, the government has ramped up the use of military barracks to house asylum seekers. It's all part of the government trying to close asylum hotels, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. The use of asylum hotels has been going down quite significantly. I think it's down over 30% year on year. So they're now being put into these military sites and other kind of sites that aren't so public-facing, because obviously some of these hotels, I mean, we see them around London as well, they're right in the middle of residential areas and communities. But it's still not the solution to the wider problem, which is you've got people here illegally, lots of people don't know anything about these people, and the government, just like the Tories did, is really struggling to deport them all and know what to do with them.
And the thing that just strikes me on this Armed Forces Week with all of this is, and I know they're arguing it's better value for money, but obviously a lot these are former military sites, so they're having to be upgraded and refurbed in order to make them suitable. But what that ultimately is going to end up meaning is that they're going to be in a better condition than actual military sites where soldiers are living in very often in pretty poor conditions.
Well, and there's obviously a real concern about veterans' accommodation and armed forces accommodation, absolutely. And we know the MOD has, you know, we get very well-meaning ministers in the MOD trying to address this, but they're dealing with really limited resources. And when you then factor in the huge concerns over defence funding and the way that the Treasury under Rachel Reeves has just repeatedly told the MOD that she doesn't want to give them much more money and they have to find savings within the department. Well, where do they find these kind of savings? It's by not doing upgrade programmes like that.
Yeah. All right, Anna, good to see you this morning.
Thanks, Anna.
You.
Well, Border Security and Asylum Minister Alex Norris has told GB News that we promised to close every asylum hotel and hand them back to communities, and that is exactly what we are doing. 20 more hotels have closed and hotel numbers have more than halved since their peak. Instead, we're moving asylum seekers into ex-military sites that are a far cry from the hotels the last government left us with. This is a system being brought back under control, and we will not stop until the job is done.
Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/your say. Now, also for you this morning, a 14-year-old boy has been charged with murder after Gwent police found a female body during a search in South Wales. The body was not formally identified, but it is thought to be a girl known only as Lily, who's been reported missing.
The UK government is providing £2 million to help the emergency response to 2 earthquakes which struck Venezuela on Wednesday, which has killed at least 235 people and injured over 4,000.
And, well, hitting more records with the heat. It could have been the hottest night on record for June. There was a temperature of 36.7 recorded yesterday afternoon in Somerset. That was a record in itself. A rare red warning of extreme heat is in place in parts of southeast England until 9 o'clock tonight. It's just worth pointing out on Venezuela, I know we're saying, you know, there's several hundred we now know have died. There are 40,000 people missing at the moment. So that's very likely to be where we're looking at with a tally on all of this. It's an absolutely horrific situation.
It's just awful, isn't it? Yeah. I was listening to a report this morning from Caracas, and you can hear people under the rubble, but where there are so many people under the rubble, the rescuers just can't get to everybody. So it's a horrific situation there.
We'll keep you up to date on that as we get more details through.
OK, 18 minutes past 7. Let's get a check on the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stay with us still to come. As this June heatwave continues to grip the nation, scientists say that this record-breaking heatwave would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago.
Except we had one 50 years ago, didn't we? It's a couple of degrees cooler. But 1976, we had a massive heatwave.
A very famous one.
Yes, I remember it well.
Ah, no, you don't.
Well, I do remember it.
Do you?
Yeah, I was only 2, but I remember it.
No, there's no way you remember that.
I do. I remember it being very, very hot.
Oh.
Anyway, look, we'll find out more for you in a moment.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Brave. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the
because
failure is-
you're
the failure is-
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel. Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter?
So that's a very live question.
Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Oh, is it me? Oh, thank you. It's 7:24. And the Prime Minister says officials are holding COBRA meetings to coordinate the response to the current heatwave. As the June heat record has been broken again, we hit 36.7 degrees in Somerset yesterday.
Well, a red extreme heat warning was issued by the Met Office across parts of South and Central England and South Wales. That's now been extended until 9 p.m.
Well, we've just had a weather forecast, as you know, but what is actually driving all of this? Should we talk to Alex Deakin from the Met Office, who joins us now? It's great to see you. It's lovely to be able to talk to you in real time, Alex. Good to see you. What is driving this, and why is it getting quite so hot?
Yeah, it's a combination of things, everything kind of coming together at the right or the wrong time, depending on your point of view. We've had high pressure building across Western Europe, particularly across France, and they've seen day on day temperatures rising, and we've seen incredible heat there, record breaking temperatures. And that high pressure is kind of squashing the air down. So we're seeing the air sinking through the atmosphere. That adds to the temperature rise. It's happening at this time of year where the sun is high in the sky, of course, so that is pushing down and rising and lifting the temperatures also. So it's just everything kind of coming together with the background, of course, of our changing climate, which is increasing temperatures. So it's all kind of coming together, and that's why we're seeing the temperatures so very high through this week. It is now finally turning a bit cooler in the west, so it won't be as hot today where I am in the southwest of England or in parts of Wales, but still hot, but not as hot. The peak of the heat today is going to be over central and eastern parts of England.
We saw record-breaking temperatures in May, didn't we? And now record-breaking temperatures in June. There is talk now, Alex, of whether this is the new normal, if we're just going to see regular heat waves.
Yeah, I mean, what we're seeing at the moment is extreme, but it is something we're going to have to get used to. When we see high pressure, when we see hot spells, they're just that much hotter. So it's the extreme, it's that extreme nature that we're more likely to see more often, just pushing the boundary because of our changing climate. Yeah, to break 2 monthly temperature records back to back, it is really quite remarkable. You know, the records going back well over 100 years. So it is quite remarkable to break one temperature record. We've broken, I think now, 8 or 9 of the temperature records through the year. Per month this century alone. So we are seeing that happen more frequently. So it is all consistent with our climate change. And so, yeah, to see 2 monthly records broken back to back, it is remarkable.
I've got to say, I love the weather symbols behind you. It reminds me of the good old days. And I'm particularly liking the lightning, because I've never wanted a lightning and thunderstorm so much as I do today. Are we going to see any?
Yeah, we are. We had some actually, again, where I am down in Devon last night. There's some rumbling away at the moment over parts of northern England. We're going to see more today across southern Scotland, northern England in particular. For the southeast, you're going to have to wait till tonight, but there could be some big ones tonight and then again into the weekend. So we are seeing the change. Today's the last day of the extreme heat. And the change often happens with a thunderstorm. We are going to see more of them today, particularly if you have to one in the southeast. You may well get some tonight, and you're more likely to get some again through the course of the weekend. So that's going to spark the change, clear the heat away to some extent, and we're back to more typical summer conditions for next week.
Lovely stuff, Alex. Really good to see you. Thanks very much indeed.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the idea of a thunderstorm to clear the air.
I know.
Lovely.
It's tropical weather, isn't it? It's like something you'd see on holiday.
Yeah.
But Monday and the thunderstorms then, did you have them in...
Yeah, do you know what? There was a lightning strike right over the house. I've never heard anything as loud in all my life. It was right on top of us.
That was scary.
It was scary.
I've never heard or seen anything quite like it, that thunderstorm on Monday night. It put on a show, especially in London.
Yeah.
So it could be another one tonight. Anyway, in the meantime, all this hot weather, it does lead to travel chaos up and down the country, doesn't it? Simon Calder, travel correspondent and friend of the programme, joins us now. Very good morning, Simon. It does wreak havoc, doesn't it, with our travel plans when it gets this hot?
Very much so, and particularly, can I pick up on those thunderstorms? Everyone's saying, oh, wouldn't it be lovely? We had a great show there. Can I just say, on behalf of the flying community, and there will be air traffic controllers, pilots, cabin crew watching that, and their jaws will be dropping at the welcome for the thunderstorms. It's so interesting. The forecast 10 minutes ago, you've got this big red blob over London and the southeast, but then all the way around it, thunderstorm warnings. That is really going to upset a lot of people's travel plans, I'm afraid. So you may be outside the southeast and thinking, oh, well, not too hot. But once those thunderstorms get going, in fact, they already have. And overnight at Edinburgh Airport, we saw lots of long delays, typically 2 hours incoming. There was a Ryanair flight from Portugal, which had to divert to Newcastle. And so it does cause really quite a lot of problems because no pilot is going to fly when there are thunderstorms in the area, and indeed ground operations at airports can sometimes have to stop. So I'm expecting, I'm sorry to say, quite widespread disruption, which could be all the way around from the kind of Bristol Airport through the Midlands up to the northwest, in particular Manchester Airport, and indeed southern Scotland, which is annoying for a lot of people because guess what? I'm speaking to you from lovely the island of Harris in northwest Scotland. The Scottish schools have largely broken up, and they will be wanting to fly off to the Mediterranean, and that could have problems. But as you have, we've discussed on GB News earlier in the week, the rail issues are also very substantial. I've just taken a quick look at incoming rush hour trains to the main London stations, and well, if you get away with a 10-15 minute delay, you're doing well.
Actually, after we talked yesterday, I mentioned on air, Simon, I thought, the whole, the clickety-clack of the rails were expansion gaps put in all of it, and our very informed viewers all got back to us and said, well, actually, no, they're continual rails that have been put in now. Why have they done that? I mean, does it leave any room for expansion? Because rail buckling seems to be the big concern here.
Oh, it certainly does, but the continuous welded rails have been around for decades, and they give a much better ride. They're much better for the rolling stock because you're not constantly going clickety-clack, which signifies forces being exerted that you could do without, more comfortable for the passengers. But they are pre-stressed for a wide range of temperatures, and that might typically in the UK be -5 to perhaps +30, and unfortunately when they were being installed, those were the temperature ranges that we were looking at, and unfortunately with the amount of the record temperatures we're seeing, we are understandably, from the railway's point of view, seeing speed restrictions, seeing more than the usual number of signal failures, and so it's just really causing a lot of disruption, and also those line-side fires, which are more likely to start in very hot and dry conditions, and they can cause absolute mayhem. So everything is going against the railway and indeed the rail traveller at the moment.
Simon Calder, thank you very much. Good to see you as always. Well, speaking of fires and those line-side fires that Simon was talking about there, let's bring you these pictures now of a wildfire that has broken out in Derbyshire amid the extreme UK heatwave.
Oh, that looks really grim. The amount, if you're listening on the radio, the amount of smoke, it looks...
Plumes of smoke.
It looks like almost... like it's an icy situation because the entire picture is just white with
You can barely
smoke.
see the trees, can you?
And that's in Glossop. So if you're in the Glossop area, heck, good luck with that. It's absolutely horrific.
But it's like we were talking to Steph Golter earlier, the meteorologist, and she was saying the earth is so scorched now. We've had several days of really hot weather. It will be like a tinderbox, won't it?
So it's one of those things, if you're heading out, if you're trying to do something and relax in the sunshine, don't be doing stuff like these little barbecues you take out anywhere, especially if you're in that sort of area. Do not do it because the whole lot could just go up. So stay away from all that sort of thing. Have a sandwich instead.
Yeah, have a picnic. That's what you should be doing. Anyway, 33 minutes past 7. Just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway, because it is the final day to see how you could win £76,543.21.
Here's how you take part.
A very warm welcome from Paphos in Cyprus. I am here at the Imperial Island Resort, where we are literally counting down the hours and the minutes until the end of our summer giveaway. You could be winning £76,543.21. Wow. Just think about what you could spend all of that amazing cash on. Would you put a brand new car in the driveway? Would you come on holiday somewhere like here? Maybe you would treat your family or your friends, or perhaps you'd just sit back, relax, and take any of those financial pressures away. Remember, this amount of cash is completely tax-free, so you will receive every single penny. But what are you waiting for? You've got to be in it to win it, because lines close at 4 p.m. today.
for a chance to win. Text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Now, still to come, Paul's going to be here with all the sport. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. Southbound on the A74 at junction 13 Abington interchange, lanes are restricted due to debris. In Cambridgeshire, the A14 westbound entry slip at junction 21 is closed after a fire, reopening around 7:30. Similarly, the A14 westbound between junctions 22 and 13 near Thrapston is shut. On the A419 northbound in Swindon, one lane is closed between the M4 and the A4259 due to a breakdown. And on the trains, East Midlands Railway and the Elizabeth line face disruption due to hot weather affecting journeys. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard. And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it? With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Welcome back. It's sports time. Paul Coyte's here with us. Morning.
You know who it doesn't look good for, don't you?
No, give over.
Oh, come on, really?
No, I'm all confident for Scotland.
I really, you know, I want it to happen, but it really seems so unlikely now. Steve Clark was probably right, and he was all miserable yesterday, was he? Oh, you're going home and this. It's like, well, actually, now it looks like it. So, basically, the way it works... Well, Ellie, could you explain for me how it works with the third place finishes?
There's 8 spaces.
Yes.
And it's third position, something like the third
yes.
position.
And there's 12.
Yes.
12 in third place.
Yes.
12 in
and
third
4 of those
groups
go through.
And
4 of them don't go through, yeah.
8 of the 12 groups go through. That's it.
Thank you.
So, very good.
Thank you.
So, currently, well, Scotland it's about 45% chance that they were going to go through yesterday, which has now dropped to 5% chance because all the results seem to go so against Scotland.
Not 0, is it?
It's not 0. You know what? If there's hope,
I'm maintaining
it's the hope that kills you in football. That's the thing.
You've got to have it, though.
You do. Ecuador
you don't have hope. What do you have?
You have nothing at all, Ellie. You have nothing. Ecuador beat Germany, which was a real surprise, and that's not good for Scotland. South Africa beat Korea 1-0, and that's not good either. And then Sweden drew with Japan. So the way we're looking at the moment, and there is a little table that's not official, but how things look with that third-place finish. So it's the top 8, as we said, and Scotland currently are in 8th place, but there are still games to play. Below them, Cape Verde, they're a point behind, they play Saudi Arabia, so they're going to get something from that. Belgium, now this is the one you're really got to worry about. They are 1 point behind Scotland, but they're playing New Zealand. I mean, with respect, the three of us could beat New Zealand.
No. You never know.
Anyway,
never know.
Congo are 2 points behind.
Yeah, but if they...
Yeah, go on. Give me some hope here.
No, but what if anyone draws? So they get a point.
They get a point each.
Yeah,
but then it goes to goal difference. So if they end up on 3, and Scotland are -3 at the moment.
Oh, right.
Oh, are they your odds dropping there? Is that what I heard? That clunk was the odds dropping?
It's a bit of a clunk.
OK. Senegal, 3 points behind. They play Iraq. So if they beat them, they'll be in the same points. But then goal difference again. So it doesn't look good for Scotland, but we can always hope. But there's not a lot there.
I'm going to keep going.
Good. Well, if you are, then I will too. I'll call you about 9:30 tonight and say it's over.
It's over.
Right, cricket. Third test at Trent Bridge. England lost the toss. New Zealand batted. A long time in bat. 300 without loss they were for... And that's not easy for a cricketer in this heat. You know, in the field... England got 4 late wickets, 361 for 4, so they need a lot of help going forward to try and win this. They're already at 1-1 at the moment. And Wimbledon starts on Monday. So 21 Brits were in the draw. Emma Raducanu was seen with a orthopaedic boot on. Oh, Emma. Maybe it's just a fashion thing. Oh, no. But anyway, she's the number... Well, you never know this. The number 30 seed at Wimbledon, and 6. So in all, there are 21 Brits in the draw. The highest ranked is Cameron Norrie at 29.
Very good.
The lowest ranked is Hannah Klugman, who's 17 years old, and she is ranked 412 in the world.
She'll probably win.
Let's hope so. We wish her. There's Hannah there, and we wish her...
17.
The very best of luck. And also, there's one other thing I want to mention about the World Cup, which we're very excited about, and that is, as an official supporter of FIFA World Cup 2026, ExpressVPN are giving one lucky GB News friend or member, which could be you, the chance to win a pair of knockout stage tickets. You know how hard these are to get hold of?
Yeah.
GB News will cover flight and accommodation. Have a listen to something I said earlier. Listen carefully. ExpressVPN, an official supporter of FIFA World Cup 2026, is giving one lucky GB News friend or member the chance to win a pair of tickets to the quarter-final of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And that's not all. GB News will cover your flights and your accommodation, making this a truly unforgettable World Cup experience. So for your chance to win, and for full terms and conditions, just go to gbnews.com/football giveaway. And entries close at 11:59 p.m. on the 30th of June 2026. And good luck.
Oh, fantastic. Oh,
Not bad.
What a
Please
prize.
take me. Please take me with you. Please.
You'll go in the luggage. I'm going to suitcase.
I'll go any way I get there. I'll be there.
Oh, brilliant. Right, Paul, thank you. Still to come, we've got the papers with Tally Fraser and Kai Wilshaw. There they are. Oh, no, they're not.
Oh, who's that coming through?
That is Rachel Reeves.
That's Rachel Reeves. She's not doing the papers.
In another pastel suit of hers. Oh, there you go. There's Tally and Kai. Morning, you two. First, though, here's your forecast across Europe.
Can't wait to get in that sea.
Lovely and warm.
Just like the feeling of having great travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Looking ahead to the weekend, and the historic heat across some parts of Europe will continue. Over more southern areas, it's not as exceptionally hot here, but nonetheless, it will feel pretty hot with all the sunshine around. Worth bearing in mind, we have high humidity as well, and with the hot and sunny weather, that will allow for a few showers to develop, and if they do, they could turn heavy and also thundery. But generally, the theme is for lots of dry, sunny weather to come as we go through into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
You've been to see Glengarry Glen Ross.
I have. So the movie was 92 and the play was 84, 85, something like David Mamet. It's all about men, or it's about men that are posturing being men. It's this idea of sort of toxic strutting, peacocking. However, the outrage, this most male of plays, has been cast with all women. Horrific. Taking away men's jobs right in front of us, Michael. It's on at the Old Vic, and we've got a cast of the ladies having a little word about it.
I think it might explode the play and open it up in really amazing ways, but we just don't know, and that is thrilling.
On first glance, you look at Glengarry and you think male, masculine world, male toxicity, but then if you strip that away and look at it from another lens, you say, no, this is about humans.
GB News, the People's Channel. Sunday with Michael Portillo from 11, only on GB News.
Joining me now is Chef Julie Walsh, who's the head of patisserie at Le Cordon Bleu. Thank you. How lovely to see you. You look marvellous in your chef's hat and your chef's jacket. Tell me about Le Cordon Bleu.
Le Cordon Bleu has been in operation for over 130 years. We had our 130-year anniversary last year. I'm from the campus in London, in Holborn, and we have a very wide-ranging curriculum with our students. I teach patisserie, so for me, I teach students to learn about things such as bakery, cakes, entremets, such as this one here, and showpieces. We do chocolate and sugar sculptures as well.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
3 lines on my shirt, never stop me dreaming.
Could this be England's biggest super fan? Benny Elcock has covered his York home in St George's flags in support of England ahead of the World Cup. 3 Lions memorabilia are draped across his windows, garden gates and flower pots. Even the family's Yorkshire Terrier Reggie has his own outfit.
Been doing it for years. And always stick my Everton one up, because I'm a massive Everton fan. People just think I'm mad. Say, well, you've gone a bit mad, you've gone a bit overboard. I said, I don't care. I love it.
Football mad Benny can't wait for England's first match.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Now, we are celebrating 5 years of GB News, so we've got an event, haven't we?
We do. On the 6th of August, mark it in your diaries. We're going to be holding events across the country, and we want you to join us. So, save the date. If you want to be the first to hear about the day's plans, keep scrolling.
Oh, sorry.
And how to get involved.
I'm just looking at the picture. Where am I on that picture?
I don't think you're there,
I'm not
unfortunately.
on that picture.
I'm sneaking in the back there.
You're in the back, but you're not going out and about on tour, are you?
I'm not on tour, no.
Well, let's get that graphic redesigned, please.
But we're not going on tour, to be fair.
No, I don't care.
I know Patrick is.
Picture.
I know it. I know Nana is.
Do this breakfast show 4 days a week. Let's get on the picture.
But we're not going on the tour. I do think that's quite a key point.
You could.
False advertising.
You could. Anyway, go to gbnews.com/celebrate. And while you're there, ask them to put my picture on the graphic.
And where would you like to go in the country?
Right. Oh, I'd like to be in the middle of the graphic.
OK.
What a disgrace.
So you can take that with graphics. In the meantime, let's speak to Sally Fraser and Kai Wilshaw.
3 o'clock in the morning.
Morning, you two.
Morning.
Let's start with the Telegraph, shall we? 5 military bases now to be used as migrant camps.
Yeah, so 5 former military bases for more than 5,000 migrants is part of Labour's plan. And look, the Tories tried it before and ended up caving in because there was so much opposition for using rural locations like this. And obviously there's backlash already from locals, from other politicians, even from refugee charities saying that it's inappropriate.
But what's the alternative?
This is the thing. The reason they're doing it is because they're trying to stop using asylum hotels. But basically, until you deal with the root cause of the issue, all you're going to get is trying different locations and moving people around the country, whether it's hotels, whether it's military bases, until you actually deal with the problem.
Yeah, no, totally. Who won't cave in is Shabana Mahmood, right? She's made a decision, she's sticking with it. The Home Office, as part of this, announced that 20 more hotels have closed. The numbers are down from 30,000 at the end of December to 21,000 who are in asylum hotels. Now, there are no good options here, right? But I personally think that this plan of trying to get military bases ready for vast amounts of migrants is much better than dispersal accommodation and HMOs, right? And we know that Andy Burnham said, as you've talked about today already, he's decried HMO Britain. Lots of people don't like it. They don't like that they don't know where people are living. At least this, and I know there will be opposition to anything, and I note that they're expanding Crowborough as well, which saw loads of protests last year. But this has to be the best option they have, right?
I don't know.
Catherine's just been in touch saying at least they're not turning them into HMOs, so she would agree with you. But the thing is, nobody wants this in their community.
No.
We've seen that in Crowborough, haven't we?
They've just not sorted out the fundamental problem.
Well, this is it. There's no point moving the problem unless you're looking at processing times, actually speeding that up and potential deportation.
Yeah, because I think Guy's right. Arguably, of all sort of poor options, having sort of fixed, larger housing for this issue is better than dispersing people up and down the country and not knowing where. And I think that would cause more issues for community cohesion than sort of one base.
Let's have a look at Rachel Reeves, Kai, should we? They've done this as pensioners. It doesn't just affect pensioners. It affects everyone who's got an ISA or a stocks and shares ISA, because you often have little bits of cash in there as well, of which you're now going to have to pay tax.
Yes, so pensioners are going to be included in this 22% charge on cash interest in investment accounts. Pensioners, of course, were exempted in the last November's budget from a rule change that changed the cash ISA allowance from £20,000 to £12,000. Pensioners over 65s are able to keep their £20,000 allowance. What's interesting about this is it's part of the broader picture behind this is that this government in particular has focused quite intensely on trying to close the investing gap, right? So the amount of money that Britons, and we're quite bad at this, are put in cash where instead maybe they could be put into investments and ultimately, and the hope is, put into the British economy, into productive investment. So the investing gap is around 610 billion, according to Barclays. That's money that is kept in cash that could be put to good use. And so that all of these changes have to be seen in that frame, right? If we can get people investing in buying British, investing in British companies, the idea is that will help us sort of create this virtuous cycle, grow the economy. But it's not a good headline for Rachel Reeves as she enters her swan song, is it?
No, and you're right, like, investment is so necessary, and the British public aren't sort of, up on their investment levels. But the way to do it is not by adding tax onto ISAs. It's not encouraging investment. It's not making people think about it.
Well, yeah, but they're trying to incentivise using stocks and shares ISAs, aren't they?
But it is a stock and share ISA already, just with one where because you do end up with bits of cash in a stocks and shares ISA when they're moving money about.
They're just saying it has to be in stocks and shares.
Yeah, and the argument being made is, of course, that pensioners need a bit more of that security compared to young savers, that they need that cash just in case as a nest egg.
Well, the Treasury is saying this morning parking cash long-term in a non-cash ISA to earn tax-free interest isn't investing. It's like...
Look,
it's your own money.
This is the thing, and it does. Labour and this government have been obsessed on what they can add tax onto rather than what they can remove tax on. So,
all right. Tally, Kai, thank you very much indeed. We'll see you in 45 minutes' time.
Right, let's get a check on your weather with Alex Burkill.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M74 northbound, expect restrictions between junctions 8 and 7 due to animals near the carriageway. A collision on the M25 anti-clockwise between junctions 26 and 25 has closed 3 lanes, causing 50-minute delays in Greater London. Normal traffic is expected around 10:30 to 10:45 this morning. The A419 northbound near Swindon is partially blocked between the junctions with the M4 and A4259 due to a broken down vehicle, with normal conditions anticipated after 8:30 this morning. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Hello from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
At the stroke of midnight, the news doesn't stop, and neither do we.
Day in, day out. Forget stuffy late night TV shows. We're giving you a front row ticket to the centre of the political universe.
Because breaking news doesn't wait for the morning.
And neither do we. Join us for one of the most controversial and volatile times of politics in human history.
A very big story.
Big story over here.
You won't get this anywhere else. The Late Show live at midnight, every night.
Only on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get this on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's Tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The King and Queen, it turns out, will never live at Buckingham Palace.
King Charles confirms he and Queen Camilla will stay at Clarence House, ending nearly 2 centuries of royal tradition.
Well, the announcement comes as the King also reveals his personal tax bill for the first time in what the palace says is a move towards transparency.
Well, the King and Queen may not be living there, but I certainly did yesterday. 5 hours going through all of these financial documents from the royal household, so you don't have to. And I'll be bringing you the very latest of the royal finances, including, of course, the King's income tax.
Elsewhere today, the government announces more former military bases are set to house asylum seekers as another 20 migrant hotels close.
Even now, today, are still losing lives, limbs, you know, they're struggling with PTSD. It's important that they're recognised.
It's Armed Forces Week, and the nation is recognising those who serve and remembering for them that support should be available long after military life ends.
The June heatwave continues to grip the UK as scientists say this month's record-breaking heatwave would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago.
The heat is still a major talking point today, particularly in parts of the southeast. Otherwise, we've already seen a fair few thunderstorms kicking off, these becoming largely confined to Scotland through the bulk of the day. I'll have more details coming up.
And sport this morning, well, some results last night really didn't help Scotland's chances of qualifying for the last 32 at the World Cup, but they're still hanging in there, just about. In cricket, England have some late success after a tough day in the field against New Zealand, and the link between Sunderland and Elvis Presley.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Right, we're going to crack straight on this hour and talk about the King, because he's revealed his personal tax bill and some pretty astonishing facts about royal finances.
Yes, King Charles is the first monarch to ever release his tax records and finances, which revealed he'd paid more than £30 million in tax since taking the throne in 2022, including £12.9 million for 2024 to 2025 and £11.7 million for 2023 to 2024.
This is the big news. There's been, and it's coming to an end now, major multi-million-pound overhaul of the palace. King and Queen aren't going to live there. 370 million, actually, or thereabouts, for the refurb work. It's about to be completed, but they will not move in.
Well, GB News' royal correspondent Cameron Walker is here to tell us more. Morning, Cameron.
Good morning. Yes, so that is the big news, as you said, not going to be living there. I think on the face of it, you think, why are we spending £370 million on our money doing up a house that nobody's ever going to live in, and a very luxury house at that? It's not for, you know, kind of luxury items here. This money was earmarked in order to upgrade electrics and plumbing to avoid what was feared to be a catastrophic risk of a fire or a flood at Buckingham Palace, because the wiring and plumbing hadn't been updated since the end of the Second World War. But what we were also told when the refurbishment was starting, or the resurfacement was starting, is that the monarch would return to Buckingham Palace after the resurfacing was completed, and that is due to happen in 2027. But the King and Queen have decided to stay at Clarence House. I very much doubt Prince William will ever move in there when he is king either. He has described Forest Lodge, which is his 8-bedroom mansion on the Windsor estate, as his forever home. So I suppose it's up to the public to make up their minds whether it's a good value for money or a bad value for money. I think the royals would say, look, the palace is going to be opened up more to the public, including the North Wing. There's going to be a new Queen's Library that you can see, which is clearly going to benefit tourism and all the rest of it. The palace is still going to be Monarchy HQ. All of their offices are still going to be there for their staff. Royal investitures will have state banquets, visiting heads of states will be there, or garden parties, engagements and all the rest of it. there's just not going to be a member of the royal family actually laying their heads down. And that will be the first time that's kind of happened officially in 200 years. Of course, Queen Victoria, the first monarch to live there.
Yeah. What about the tax bill? In all of this, because I just, as I was saying last week, I don't know why we need to know. I don't know what the benefit is of us knowing how much is paid in income tax.
Well, it's a little bit clear as mud. We're not quite sure what this exactly has been calculated, or what has exactly been calculated to come up with this figure. I think why they have decided to publish the tax bill for the first time in the Sovereign's case is because, unfortunately, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and the probe into all of his finances and all of his dealings with the Crown Estate properties, for example, leasing to staff those cottages by Royal Lodge when he used to live in Berkshire, and now, of course, politicians probing other royal properties. So I think that's why the King and the Prince of Wales trying to be as open and transparent as possible. What this does mean is that the King, from this, what we can see here, £12.9 million this previous tax year, is in the top 100 taxpayers within the United Kingdom. Hardly surprising, I think. He's got a big Duchy of Lancaster, that he gets private income from. Prince William, £7.76 million. Combined, since the King ascended the throne, we know that William and Charles combined have given in tax to the British Treasury more than £50 million. The other point to make, I think, is this. You know, you can debate all day whether or not the monarchy's value for money. Lots of people say that you can't quantify how much money it brings in with tourism. But it was the state visit, and I was with the King on the state visit to the United States, and President Trump waived a tax on whiskey, Scottish whiskey, which has brought millions to the Scottish economy, millions to the UK economy as a result. And President Trump said on the record, only King Charles could have persuaded me to do that. And that is the definition of soft power.
Yeah. All right. Cameron, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Cameron. Now, the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, is set to sack her migration minister. It's after he reportedly breached ministerial code.
Mike Tapp, the MP for Dover and Deal, penned the article without his boss's approval, in which he demanded migrant care workers are given special exemptions from Mahmood's migration overhaul.
Well, this comes as the Home Office reveals its plan to use more former military barracks to house thousands of asylum seekers. It's all in its quest to shut down migrant hotels.
Let's talk to Shadow Home Office Minister Matt Vickers, who joins us now. Good to see you, as always, Matt. I mean, look, the argument certainly over these former military bases is it's a brilliant option, but it's a better option than the migrant hotels, which the last Tory government left them with.
Well, actually, when you look at those migrant hotels, I've told you before, I concede the last government got things wrong on immigration, but they were moving in the right direction when it came to immigration hotels. Actually, that number in the last year of the Conservative government had fell by nearly 50%. If we'd carried on that trajectory, there wouldn't be any migrant hotels anymore. But the reality is, moving these people around, whether it be in migrant hotels, whether it be in these former armed forces bases, whether it be in HMOs that are now springing up left, right and centre, that isn't solving the problem. The problem will only be solved when we start detaining and deporting people who arrive in this country illegally. That's what everybody at home can tell you. It's the way to solve this issue. Actually, we did that when we were in office with Albania. Albania was one of the top places from which people were arriving in this country. We got that deal in place with Albania that meant anybody who broke into the country was sent back to Albania. All of a sudden, the number of people coming from Albania fell by 93%. It's not rocket science. We've now got a real plan in place to deliver that when Kemi gets into office, leaving the ECHR, enacting what was the Rwanda scheme of detaining and deporting those people who arrive illegally. That's how you solve this problem. Everything else is window dressing.
Can I ask you about killers, rapists and sex offenders will be among the 6,000 criminals freed early from prison from September. The government have announced this. They're running out of prison space. Lord Timpson, the prisons minister, says this is about fixing the broken prison system that they inherited from the Tories. What's your response to that?
It's absolutely shambolic that the government is deciding to let sexual and violent offenders out early, serving as little as half of the sentence they've been given by a judge. That is not on. When we were last in office, we built more prison places. We didn't build as many as we should have, perhaps, but we did build them. We put in place the biggest prison building programme since the Victorian era. We were opening additional prison places, but we made decisions along the way. When the pandemic struck, we made the decision not to let prisoners out early. as other countries did. We also made a decision to toughen up sentences. We gave sexual and violent offenders tougher sentences. We believe prison is part of the solution. We believe it's a deterrent. We also believe it has a role in public safety. We think people who do some of the most heinous and vile crimes should be locked up for longer. This Labour government does not believe in that. They've let huge numbers of people out of prison early already. They've accidentally let out, by about 125%, the number of people David Lammy has accidentally let out of prison. This is an utter shambles. Less time behind bars, less police on our streets. It's all going the wrong way.
But it's a failure of successive governments, isn't it? Because Rishi Sunak's government has had your own early release scheme. You were releasing prisoners up to 70 days early for the very same reason. You didn't have the space.
Not at all, not at all. We were not letting sexual and violent offenders out onto the streets after they'd served just 50% of the sentence they were given. We toughened up. We actually extended the sentences. If you look back at what people were being sent away for, we toughened those sanctions up. We put people in prison for longer. Those are the worst offenders, the worst of the worst, and they deserve to be behind bars.
All right. There's a possibility, at least, of a general election coming up imminently. However slim, you've got to be ready to fight on all of this now, haven't you? You've got to be prepared for that. So I'm just wondering how you do all of this. I mean, you mentioned sort of re-establishing the Rwanda scheme. There's a cost on that. You want to solve the prison problem? You need to build a lot more prisons. How are you going to pay for that? How are you going to reduce national insurance increases? How are you going to make it easier for businesses, particularly small businesses across the UK? Are you going to be able to do that and provide any tax cuts, seeing as you criticise how much we're being taxed at the moment? How would a Conservative government make all this balance out? Because you can't just do it by cutting the welfare bill, can you? I didn't even mention defence.
We put forward a plan. We put forward a plan. Unlike a lot of the other guys, we put forward a fully costed plan. We've told you how we're going to save £47 billion in terms of savings. We've said that half of that is going to go to paying down the national debt. We're doing it in a conservative way, a responsible way. The primary aim here has to be to help people get back into work. The welfare bill is ballooning under this government. Anybody who works is paying more and more in tax. Anyone who doesn't is getting more and more in benefits. It's going completely the wrong way. The benefits bill is expected to surge by £20 million in a year. This thing is off the charts. More people out of work. Businesses can't afford to pay these tax bills because of the hiking of business rates, because they've been slammed with that jobs tax, the national insurance increase, because that employment rights bill. Businesses are going to the wall. More than 500,000 businesses have closed since this lot got into office. We've got unemployment up by 19%. We've got graduate recruitment at an all-time record low. More than 1 million young people without employment, education and training, because we are taxing to death anybody who goes out, works hard, does the right thing and creates jobs. That's where this begins. We've talked about removing stamp duty because it's the biggest sucker on economic growth. We've talked about axing business rates for those high street businesses with a rateable value under £100,000. These are real seismic changes. That government needs to be on the side of people who work hard and do the right thing. And at the moment, everything's going in the wrong way because they are not.
Because we're out of time with you, I'm afraid. Thank you very much for joining us on GB News Breakfast this morning in that heat and that sunshine. Look at that. Westminster's looking beautiful today.
It is today. Look, Alex Norris is the Border Security and Asylum Minister, and in relation to what we started talking to Matt Vickers about, which is these former army bases, he said, we promised to close every asylum hotel and hand them back to communities. That's what we're doing. 20 more hotels have closed. Hotel numbers have more than halved since their peak. Instead, we're moving asylum seekers into ex-military sites that are a far cry from the hotels the last government left us with. This is a system being brought back under control.
Now, an investigation has been launched after the medical records of a 3-year-old boy hurt in a crocodile pit were assessed by around 40 members of hospital staff. Cambridge University Hospitals has referred itself to the Information Commissioner's office and is investigating whether all of the workers had a legitimate reason for looking at his information.
The government's sending £2 million to help the emergency response to the earthquakes in Venezuela. At least 235 people have been killed, more than 4,000 injured, 40,000 people are currently missing.
And a wildfire has broken out in Derbyshire amid this heat wave. It's torn through large areas of moorland for over 24 hours, forcing road closures and smoke warnings as fire crews are battling to bring it under control. Meanwhile, the UK may have experienced its warmest June night yet, after a record temperature for the month of 36.7 degrees was recorded yesterday in Somerset.
Well, let's see what the weather's going to do for you today, wherever you are in the UK. Here's Alex.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, do stick with us. Still to come, the King and Queen will not live at Buckingham Palace. That's once the £370 million taxpayer-funded refurbishment work has been completed. So, this morning we're asking, is it time to sell Buckingham Palace? That's up next.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you. Bulletins on GB News,
The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions, but every Friday night at 9 p.m. you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
Needs to
stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
To all of you who voted for GB News to win at the Trick Awards for the 4th year in a row.
The winner is GB News.
Thank you so much for voting for us. It's because of you that we're so proud to be the People's Channel, and it's because of you that we are Britain's news channel.
It's voted for the people who watch us.
Well, we've got the best viewers in the world, haven't we? The most loyal viewers.
Thank you.
Now it is 8:21 and new reports have emerged showing the profits of the Crown Estate are plummeting, with returns to the Treasury reduced by half.
Well, the latest annual figures from the Crown Estate revealed operating profits fell from £1.4 billion to £1.2 billion compared over the past year, and a drop in the offshore wind is reportedly to blame.
Are you confused by all of that? I am. Let's get some clarity from our royal correspondent, Cameron Walker.
Yes, I'll certainly try, yes. So the King's sovereign grant, that's the money he uses, the public money, to fund the running of the monarchy, is taken from the profits of the Crown Estate. So the King surrenders all of those profits to the Treasury, and in return, the UK government gives him a percentage of those profits to run the household. That, from next year, will be increasing from 12% to 20%, meaning the monarch and his household will get around £100 million per year for the next 5 years. Now, those royal trustees, including the Keeper of the Privy Purse, the Prime Minister and the Chancellor of the Exchequer, say this isn't just a blank cheque, it is subject to the same checks and balances as every other public body and every other public institution. But the other big news, of course, is that Buckingham Palace is no longer going to be lived in by a working monarch ever again, essentially. And that is because despite, of course, the £370-odd million of public money being spent on the resurfacing of the building over a 10-year period, that's expected to end next year in 2027. Now, we were always told that the monarch would move back into the building when work was complete. That no longer happening. King and Queen are pretty happy at Clarence House. The Prince of Wales, well, he's called Forest Lodge his forever home, so it's highly likely he will ever move back in either. But it remains a public building, and the King is still going to use it as Monarchy HQ. It's still going to have royal staff offices. Public engagements will be carried out there, investitures, state banquets, and, of course, garden parties. It's still, as one source put it, going to be the beating heart of the monarchy. And even if no monarch was living there, well, it was still an incredibly old building with wiring and plumbing dating back to the end of the Second World War, meaning it was at huge risk of a catastrophic flood or fire. But the question is, does the public think it's good value for money?
Thank you, Cameron. Well, that brings us on to this morning's debate. Is it time to sell Buckingham Palace?
Well, we're joined by former Attorney General Sir Michael Ellis and former Lib Dem and royal author Norman Baker. All right, Norman, I know you're going to be controversial. Let's start with you. What do you think? Is it time to get the for sale sign out?
No, I don't think so. It's a national asset, and it'd be quite wrong to put it up for sale. It could be bought by a Russian oligarch or, dare I say, a Thai cryptocurrency billionaire. We don't want that happening. However, we, the public, have spent $369 million, as Cameron quite rightly says, on the building, and we need to get our money's worth. At the moment, there are a certain number of visitors who visit the palace and pay to visit the palace, and that money is regarded by the king as, quote, private money, unquote. So I think what we should do is have far more visitors coming through, even if it's still being used as Monarchy UK. It won't be a living residence. And that money should be going to the Treasury to offset the cost of the refurbishment we've paid for.
OK, Michael.
Well, I mean, that is exactly what is going to happen, in the sense that it's now going to be even more value for money than the royal family already are. Look, the reality of the situation is that Buckingham Palace has always been the centre of the monarchy, and it's going to remain the centre of the monarchy. Staff are going to be based there. It's still going to be used for garden parties and the state visits and the like. So the reality is that it's going to be even more important to maintain that palace. And what has been spent, the money has not been spent on gold-encrusted toilets and silk wallpaper. The money has been spent on plumbing and wiring, because it hasn't been replumbed and rewired since 1945. So it had to be done. We were never going to knock it down and build a car park. Even if it was an empty building, it would have to be maintained as a museum or something of that sort. So this represents great value for money for the British taxpayer.
Norman, would you agree with that? It's good value for money.
No, absolutely not. I mean, the point Michael's missing that I made in my first introduction comments was that we are paying for the refurbishment, the public, and the King is taking the money for the ticket sales for people to come in. And we should get that as a public to repay for the £369 million we put in. It's also worth pointing out, as Cameron did in his introduction, that the amount of sovereign grant, the core element of sovereign grant, is going to double in 3 years. This is not a slimmed-down monarchy. This is a fattening monarchy.
That's not the case. In fact, it's being reduced. It's going to be around £100 million, whereas up till now it's been closer to 140. Look,
no,
I think
the core element is going from 51
I don't know what you mean by core element, Norman.
Well,
but what Norman wants to do is abolish the monarchy and presumably have a republic. The fact is, if you look at France's presidency costs more than the British monarchy. If we had President Tony Blair or someone like that, it's not as though they'd be living on a council estate and driving around in a mini metro. There would also be costs to a presidency. And as I say, the French presidency is just one of those heads of state that costs more than the British monarchy. But with our British monarchy, we get all the trappings that go with it, including the soft power, which is, frankly, ranked #1 in the world.
Michael is turning this into a debate about whether you have a monarchy or not. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that the value for money is very poor for our monarchy, and the core element, that's their terminology, Michael, not mine. The core element of the sovereign grant is going to double in 3 years. And our monarchy costs an average about £500 million a year all in. That's 10 times more than the next nearest monarchy, which is the Dutch monarchy at £46 million.
But if you are choosing to have a monarchy that rides around on bicycles, that is one thing. We have a monarchy that is integral to our military, our armed forces, integral to the way our civil service operates. It is a part of our state that people value. It also, frankly, brings in a profit to this country. The tourism, the soft power that it generates. Look, the King's visit to the United States alone was worth more than 100 ministerial visits, no matter what colour of government we were talking about. That is a sort of power that you cannot buy. That is a sort of endearment that other people around the world have towards this country that is worth its weight in gold. You've got to support that by having structural assets and buildings that are historic buildings. We would never build a building like Buckingham Palace today, but while we've got it, while it's a 200-year-old edifice, we've got to maintain it.
Final thought, Norman.
The palace that gets the most visitors in Europe is the Palace of Versailles. The French abolished their monarchy in 1848. That's the way of getting money into that particular building. You can do the same with Buckingham Palace, whether the monarchy's in existence or not. And secondly, of course, Charles did a good job on going across to Washington. He could have done that with a much slimmer monarchy. We don't need peppercorn rents for Andrew and Edward. We don't need tax exemptions. We don't need special treatment in order for the king to do a good job in Washington.
OK, Norman, Sir Michael, good to see you both this morning. Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts. We've got this response from Dan Lambard, who's the Chief Executive of the Crown Estate. He said these results demonstrate both the strength of our underlying business and the importance of taking a long-term approach to managing national assets. Over recent years, we've delivered strong growth for the country and invested in areas of national importance, including renewable energy, housing and science and innovation. You're all pretty much saying the same thing on gbnews.com/you'll say.
Yes.
Pretty much.
I mean, Matthew says Buckingham Palace should be made into a museum. Fair enough. But a lot of them are saying that you don't agree with Norman.
Yes.
You're not saying it quite like that, most of you. But there you go. You get the gist.
Yeah. Brenda says Buckingham House is part of our heritage. How could anyone ever consider selling it? It's so important for state visits. Somebody else saying this is just like France and the Palace of Versailles. Very important to keep.
Yeah, anyway, brilliant. Right, should we tell you about the giveaway? Because it is the last day today if you want the chance of winning £76,543.21.
Yeah, it's a great prize, isn't it? Here are all the details that you need.
A very warm welcome from Paphos in Cyprus. I am here at the Imperial Island Resort, where we are literally counting down the hours and the minutes until the end of our summer giveaway. You could be winning £76,543.21. Wow. Just think about what you could spend all of that amazing cash on. Would you put a brand new car in the driveway? Would you come on holiday somewhere like here? Maybe you would treat your family or your friends, or perhaps you'd just sit back, relax and take any of those financial pressures away. Remember, this amount of cash is completely tax-free, so you will receive every single penny. But what are you waiting for? You've got to be in it to win it, because lines close at 4 p.m. today.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pooled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. Need to get a wiggle on if you want to be part of that prize.
Yes, you do. You need to get a wiggle on if you're going to school or work this morning, because it's 8:32. Here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A85 is closed between Lochern Head and Mid-Licks due to a road traffic incident. On the M5 northbound in Worcestershire, lane closures are causing delays between Junction 6 and Junction 5 due to animals on the road. In Greater London, the M25 anti-clockwise between Junction 26 and Junction 25 has delays up to 50 minutes, with 3 lanes closed after a serious collision. And on the trains, hot weather may affect your journey, with major disruption expected on East Midlands railway services between London St Pancras International and Bedford, and the Elizabeth line to and from Heathrow terminals. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Welcome back. It's Sports Time. Paul Quait's here with us.
What? Sport coming up in a minute.
You don't want the full sport. This is just a little taster of the sport. Scotland, it's not looking good for them. We've got works of art that could buy players, and Elvis Presley and Sunderland Football Club. How can you not stick around for that?
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Bowl.
They are under no illusion.
Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard. This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Let's try again, shall we? It's sports time with Paul Coit.
This is the real one,
This is the
right?
real one.
If you're a Scottish fan, I'd enjoy being in the World Cup because I have a feeling it's not going to last much longer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're upsetting all the Scots in the newsroom.
And me.
Okay,
Stephen,
but I'm
the honorary
trying to
Scot.
be. I'm just trying to be honest here. I don't want you to get overexcited. It doesn't look good at the moment because we kind of hoped that Scotland were going to make it through in a third place in the World Cup, but now the only teams below them, they're now in 8th, and there are only 8 that managed to go through, and Cape Verde are behind them, and Belgium have got to play. They're only a point behind, and they're probably going to win, and then Congo and Senegal, and anyway, it looks like it's all going to be over tonight. I hope it isn't, but I think it will be. What are you laughing at?
They'll be fine.
Right.
They'll be absolutely fine.
Ecuador beat Germany, by the way.
Well, exactly.
That's a shocker.
I know.
Anything could happen.
South Africa beat Korea. Quite a shocker too.
Why is that a shocker?
Well, Korea, human son plays for Korea.
Oh, well, that's true.
Just on his own, he should be winning the World Cup.
It's true.
Sweden drew with Japan, but anyway, Turkey beat USA. That was a surprise, but then the USA and Turkey have had a terrible time, but then it's too late for them anyway.
Turkey.
Yes, Turkey. And the Netherlands, formerly known as Holland, you remember those days, beat Tunisia 3-1. So there we are. That's what we have. Elliot Anderson, playing for England in the World Cup, a fine footballer. Nottingham Forest is now moving to Manchester City.
He's only 23, isn't he?
Yeah, £116 million. Record signing for Manchester City. There are words around that maybe it's even more, that it could be £130 million, which is huge.
Oh, that's more than the King gets.
It is. And that's more than Buckingham Palace is probably worth too. If they sold that, well, maybe that could be bought by Manchester City. I don't know.
Why not?
Talking of very rich people.
Yes.
Joe Lewis. Now, Joe Lewis, British billionaire, his family are the major shareholders in Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, sold some of his art collection. And I'm looking at it thinking maybe it's paintings for players. You know, some cash could come into the club for paintings. So I'm going to show you one of the paintings that was sold. I'm going to feel like Philip Mould on Fate or Fortune. There we are.
Right. Oh.
Nuassis au collier. 1917. I can only show you that part because from the lower part you can't... Well, you know, it's art after all.
Well, art. Nothing wrong with the naked lady.
That's true. I mean, that could probably fund a new striker for Spurs.
I'd give you 20 quid for it.
20 quid? Ellie?
200,000.
48 million pounds.
What?
48 million. 306 million pounds.
I mean,
These sales of paintings have actually... You're not a fan?
No.
What, you like the dog playing pool or the Chinese lady on the wall?
I like I like paintings where they look a bit more realistic.
OK, fine. You're not an art lover, are you? I can.
I'm not. Well,
No.
Get a photograph then.
Yeah.
And finally, Sunderland. Let's look at Sunderland, shall we? Now, this is a very strange one. Sunderland have a new away kit, and there's a deal with Graceland and with Elvis Presley's estate. Now, the reason for this, you know that, don't you? The reason why.
Yeah.
The link.
Yeah, well, they sing I Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
That's right. And so there's now... And it's really bizarre that there's a link. So they've got these inspired kits and leisure wear. There we are. There's the kit. Leisure wear that is available at Graceland. There we are. Look at that. That's inspired Elvis in the... So early in his career when he was on the Louisiana hayride. Is it a football shirt? What do you think of it for a football shirt?
It looks like a snooker. No, it looks like a dart shirt. That's
Dart shirt, yeah, it does look more like a dart shirt. I'm not mad keen, I've got to be honest.
I like the colours.
Like the colours, like Elvis, not sure whether it actually would be right for a football club. 26th of June 1977 was the day that Elvis played his last gig in Indianapolis, and that's the reason they're bringing it out today. But anyway, I think maybe this is the video that's been released, so you've got to be able... See, one of the leather suit they did in the 68 special. Well... Or the peacock suit as a tracksuit, we thought.
Yeah, aerodynamics.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's quite heavy, all the jewellery. But anyway, there we are, and that is available, and it's a very strange link-up, but something I like. By the way, Sunderland, currently the most successful goal-scoring club at the World Cup at the moment. 6 goals from 4 different players playing for Sunderland. How about that? Yeah.
Oh, well, good on them.
Talking of the World Cup...
Ah, very good.
Talking of the World Cup, as an official supporter of the FIFA World Cup 2026, how about this? ExpressVPN giving one lucky GB News friend or member... chance to win a pair of knockout stage tickets to the World Cup. Plus, GB News will cover flights and accommodation. Have a look at this. ExpressVPN, an official supporter of FIFA World Cup 2026, is giving one lucky GB News friend or member the chance to win a pair of tickets to the quarter-final of the FIFA World Cup 2026. And that's not all. GB News will cover your flights and your accommodation, making this a truly unforgettable World Cup experience. So for your chance to win, and for full terms and conditions, just go to gbnews.com/football giveaway, and entries close at 11:59 p.m. on the 30th of June 2026. And good luck.
It's a great prize.
How about that? Trip to the World Cup. Very exciting.
Very, very good.
Scotland may be there.
Give over. They're going to be at the Azteca on
Play
Monday.
nice.
I love that.
They are going to be there.
What, watching?
Come on, Scotland.
Watching. Sorry.
Get out.
OK, I'm sorry.
Oh, honestly.
Right, do stay with us till it's come. We'll be going through the papers with Tally Fraser and Kai Wilshaw. That's up next. Morning, you two.
First, so, here's your European forecast.
I hope we haven't forgotten anything.
Travel insurance, I tick that box.
Yeah, but remember what you forgot last year.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Looking ahead to the weekend, and the historic heat across some parts of Europe will continue. Over more southern areas, it's not as exceptionally hot here, but nonetheless, it will feel pretty hot with all the sunshine around. Worth bearing in mind, we have high humidity as well, and with the hot and sunny weather, that will allow for a few showers to develop, and if they do, they could turn heavy and also thundery. But generally, the theme is for lots of dry, sunny weather to come as we go through into next week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
But there's a huge amount of psychological evidence. There's lots of theories about when people make decisions and follow them with actions, their behaviour becomes consistent with the choice they made. So if you get married, you're more likely to see each other with rose-tinted spectacles, that kind of thing. The signal value of marriage is absolutely huge. I was talking to a young couple who are newly engaged just the other day, and they said it was amazing how it actually changed the way that they felt about their relationship. So it does provide extra security, and doing it in front of your friends makes a huge difference as well. It holds you to account. So there's a huge psychology behind the act of marriage. So it would be weird if there wasn't any effect at all. I found that your family background, so your age, your education, income, affects about half of your chance of staying together.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
The art world has lost its darling, probably the most respected, celebrated, influential artist of the 20th and 21st century. And as you say, career spanning 7 decades, whether you're looking at his portraits or his Californian swimming pools or his spectacular Yorkshire landscapes, he made art for the people. The art world can be a rather snobby place, which is unfortunate at times, but he made art for the people. If you think about the portraits, the people that he painted, whether it be Mr. and Mrs. Ossie Clark, the fashion designer, and Percy the cat, or Harry Styles, or a portrait of his carer.
GB News, the People's Channel. This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Well, I'm going to try and explain what SpaceX is. It's set to become one of the most valuable companies in the world. But it's not just about rockets. Everyone will be aware. OK, well, it'd be really nice if Elon Musk could could help us out with our tech here, because I'm trying to draw a rocket and we're not able to. What is going on? I'm so sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm afraid our very own. Let's see. No, we're not. I'll try and explain what's going on with SpaceX without any visual aids. How disappointing! It's 3 companies really. It's a rocket company, it's a communications company, and it's an AI company, all in one. It controls 84% of the commercial launch market in this country.
GB News, the People's Channel.
It's 8:46, and we're going to go through the papers now with Tally Fraser, commissioning editor for The Spectator and GB News contributor Kai Wilshaw. Good morning to you both. Can we start, Tally, with The Times? Because we're all intrigued about Andy Burnham as Prime Minister, because I'll eat my hat if it doesn't happen. But what is he going to bring in? Because we were told in the run-up to all of this he was all for a wealth tax. Now he's being told, apparently, you can't have a wealth tax.
Yes, so that's the story on the front page of The Times today, is that one of his most senior economic advisors has said a wealth tax won't work. And my word, was I excited to read this story. Finally, someone from Labour realising that actually taxes like this, which the suggestion would have been basically equalising capital gains tax with income tax, which is a horrendous idea, because his advisor, Lord O'Neill of Gatley, is right. It doesn't work. People will adjust their behaviour. The receipts won't come in. They'll get less tax if they were to go down this route. So if Andy Burnham listens to his advisor, I think that would actually be quite a good start.
But this is the question. Will someone like Andy Burnham listen to advice, or is it about the optics of what they're doing, the pure politics of it?
Yeah, it's a good question. And Andy Burnham's brought in quite a heavyweight team of sort of economic advisors. So as well as Lord O'Neill, he's got Andy Haldane, who used to be chief economist at the Bank of England, who's also, in the last few days, said he needs to cut the thicket of regulations, rein in public spending, and adopt a pro-business stance. Now, I've long thought that actually Andy Burnham's veer to the left that so many people have written up and claimed is imminent is actually, I don't think that is going to come to pass. I think yes, he will adopt some left-wing measures on things like social housing and on the EU to appeal to the base. But I think on some other things, he'll be led by, OK, well, what does the evidence tell us? What is my best advice telling me? And he'll adjudicate between those different options. I think he'll be quite a pragmatic Prime Minister, just with some big, flashy headlines as well. Keir Starmer did manage that.
Kai, let's stay with you, shall we? And we're going to talk about this viral video that's been posted by Kent Police. Tell us more.
Amazing. So...
I think we've actually got it. Should we watch it first?
Oh, let's watch it, if we can watch
Let's have a look at this video. It's gone viral online.
Amazing.
Open it! Stay where you are!
Get back, get back. Go, 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 go. I'm going, I'm going. Go, go, go. Cheers, buddy. Follow that police officer. Don't crash. Stop there. Don't move. Put your hands on your head. Sorry, mate. No worries. Cheers for your help. No problem.
So what was going on there, Kai?
So it shows an armed chase between police officers and a suspect. A van driver then pulls over and offers the police officers a lift. And he follows those instructions, drives, and then they apprehend the suspect at the end of this chase. He's obviously been... praise has been heaped on the dude. The footage is extraordinary. For radio listeners, they should definitely seek it out. I just think this is extraordinary in a world where we've had so many stories in the last few months. You know, the Waitrose staff, 54-year-old Walker Smith, who was sacked for stopping a shoplifter, a bus driver who was sacked for apprehending a fare dodger. You know, this is the best of British, isn't it?
It really is. Somebody's just been just replied to that video saying that fella thought he was in real life Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like every man's dream.
Yeah.
You felt
It is a dream. It is a dream. I just don't know why these aren't. I mean, SO19, as they probably will, why they didn't have a car. What was their vehicle?
Yeah, because the full video shows they've clearly sort of had a long run before that man.
Well, they're panting, aren't they?
Steps in, because at the end of the video, I think if you go and see the full thing, you can hear the driver go, "That was exhilarating."
He might have a new career ahead of him.
Good on him.
Good on him. Yeah, very good.
Can we have a look at this in the Times, Tali, which is... chefs are doing reduced menus because of the heat in the kitchen. And I did notice, I went to the supermarket last night because I thought I'd buy some ice cream.
You did?
Perfect weather. Oh, no, because none of the freezers were working.
Oh,
and the chiller cabinets, the chiller cabinets weren't working very well either, which is presumably all down to the heat.
Well, yeah, I nipped into... an off-licence yesterday, and it was absolutely boiling in there. And I said, God, how are you coping? And they said it's because of the fridges that is making it so hot. So for me to have my cold Diet Coke, they was absolutely sweating. But, I mean, the heat has been sort of impossible to deal with for some people, especially if you've not got aircon. If you're in a kitchen and fires are going, to be honest, I can understand saying, you know what, guys, you're going to get some nice grub, but we're keeping it. Yeah.
You can have whatever you want as long as it's cold.
Not a fan.
Gazpacho?
Not a fan. Oh, no, please, no. Mind you, I did go to the Grand Divan at the Simpsons in the Strand, which is a very glamorous restaurant a few days ago, where they have sort of pies in silver dishes and things. And despite the heat, there were still people enjoying pies and big steaks.
Yeah,
I,
they've got a meat trolley.
Yeah, yes, they do. I didn't have that. I had a lamb chop.
They have a what?
A meat trolley. So it's very,
stuff of nightmares for
very trad. They come round, they slice it up for you. It's all
vegetarian.
Yeah, you wouldn't like that then, I'm afraid.
Meat trolley, not
for me.
It's up my street.
Out the door.
It's up my street. Yeah.
OK. Kai, let's have a look, shall we, at luxury touches at festivals, shall we? The big
amazing.
Big hit.
Yeah, well, we were just talking outside about... I've not really been to many festivals, but I think my time is coming.
I imagine you slumming it, Kai, to be honest.
No, I don't know. I can...
This is where the luxury line...
It'd be a bit rough and ready, and I quite like that kind of stuff. A survey... let's get to the story. A survey of 1,000 festival goers has shown that 55% expected to buy some upgrades. So some of the most common upgrades that people take are things like access to a nice loo, obviously. So that was chosen by 35% of those people who are buying upgrades. But lots of people like these sort of glamping experiences where they don't have to trudge through the mud, maybe being closer to the stage, stuff like that.
Well, you can just have a private shower. Just have a shower.
Oh, I thought you said a private chef.
No. That's really
only cold food, unfortunately.
Yeah. Just gazpacho.
I mean, honestly, get on with it. If you're going to do it properly.
Do you think?
Field with a load of other people. No showering for a week.
If you're going to do a festival, get yourself a shower. I'd be one of these people.
All right, you two, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, you two. Let's have a look now at the weather.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of the London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The A85 is closed between Lochhernhead and Midlicks due to a traffic incident. In Worcestershire, the M5 southbound between junctions 5 and 6 has lane closures due to animals, causing 30-minute delays expected to clear by 10. The M25 anti-clockwise congestion affects between junctions 14 and 12. Note, the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 26 and 25 in Greater London also has lanes closed after a crash, but delays will ease soon. On the trains, hot weather may disrupt journeys on East Midlands Railway between London St Pancras International and Bedford. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Hello from the Imperial Island Resort in Paphos, and it's the final week to see how you could win big in time for summer. Someone has to win our stunning cash prize of £76,543.21. Just don't miss out as lines close on the 26th of June.
For a chance to win, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost costs £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entry start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB21 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 26th of June. This is a network giveaway. Entries will be pulled. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline.
Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. The King and Queen will never live at Buckingham Palace.
Yes, King Charles confirms that he and Queen Camilla will stay at Clarence House, ending nearly 2 centuries of royal tradition.
Well, the announcement comes as the King also reveals his personal tax bill for the first time. The palace says it's all about transparency.
Well, Buckingham Palace may not be a royal home anymore, but it was certainly my home yesterday, wading through for 5 hours all of these financial documents so you don't have to. I'll be bringing you the very latest lines, including what the King paid in income tax last year.
Elsewhere today, the government announces more former military bases are set to house asylum seekers as another 20 migrant hotels closed.
Even now, today, are still losing lives, limbs, you know, they're struggling with PTSD. It's important that they're recognised.
It's Armed Forces Week and the nation can and should be recognising those who serve and those who have served.
The June heatwave continues to grip the UK as scientists say that this month's record-breaking heatwave would have been virtually impossible 50 years ago.
The heat is still a major talking point today, particularly in parts of the southeast. Otherwise, we've already seen a fair few thunderstorms kicking off, these becoming largely confined to Scotland through the bulk of the day. I'll have more details coming up.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast. So many of you reacting to that viral video from Kent Police that we just shared in the newspaper review. We're just going to grab it for you so we can show you again.
It's amazing.
But you're all saying fair play to that van driver who helped out the police. Becky says fair play. Coral said, how exciting, well done. Another person saying, well done to that man for helping the police. Let's have a look again at that video.
Open it! Stay where you are! Open it! Stay there!
Get back, get back. Go, 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 go. I'm going, I'm going. Go, go, go. Cheers, buddy. Follow that police officer. Don't crash. Stop there. Don't move. Put your hands on your head. It's all right. No worries. Cheers for your help. No problem.
Love that.
There's a handshake at the end. I mean, it's lovely.
It's
Good
brilliant,
on him.
isn't it? Reece says that's every man's dream.
I mean, it really is.
To be in a car chase.
Mind you, if it's armed police, then the guy must have been that they were chasing, you would imagine, was quite dangerous, may have been armed himself. So you're putting yourself in the way of a bit of danger doing that, fella. But
Yeah.
good on you. I mean, it really is every man's dream, that.
Brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, and John says, white van driver saves the day again. Well done.
Yeah.
There you go.
Good on you.
Most positive thing we've seen in a while. Sorry, last one, promise. Saying that's one of the most positive things I've seen for a while. Thank you, GB News.
From Dark Cypher.
From Dark Cypher.
That's a mysterious name.
It is very mysterious.
Anyway.
GBnews.com/you'll say.
Right, from that to the King, who's revealed his personal tax bill and some astonishing facts about royal finances.
Yes, King Charles is the first monarch to ever release his tax records and finances, which revealed he paid more than £30 million in tax since taking to the throne in 2022. That includes £12.9 million for 2024, 2025 and £11.7 million for 2023 to 2024.
This is the big news, though. The King and Queen will not ever live at Buckingham Palace once the £370 million taxpayer-funded refurb has been completed.
Well, GB News' royal correspondent Cameron Walker is here to make sense of all of it for us. Morning to you, Cameron.
Good morning. Yes, I suppose the question on everyone's lips is, was it worth the £370 million of public funding? So let's just rewind here. Back in, I think it was 2016, they said we're going to require more public money in order to resurface Buckingham Palace. The lighting, the electricity and the plumbing was all so out of date, as in end of Second World War kind of so out of date, meaning there was a huge catastrophic risk, was the quote, of a fire or a flood within the building. But what they also said was that it would still remain the monarch's primary residence within London. Now, the King and the Queen are now saying, close to the refurbishment ending, which is happening next year, that they're going to remain in Clarence House. We also know that Prince William calls Forest Lodge, the 8-bedroom mansion he currently lives with the Princess of Wales and their 3 children in Windsor, as his forever home, meaning he's probably not going to move into it either. So this is 200 years of tradition that is ended, effectively. Buckingham Palace is no longer going to be the royal home of the sovereign. What it doesn't mean, however, is that it's no longer going to be Monarchy HQ. It's still going to have staff offices. It's still going to play a central role in royal life, including, engagements, state banquets. We're still going to have those famous balcony appearances at Buckingham Palace, but the monarch's not going to physically lay their head down inside the palace. And it's up to the public to decide whether or not that's bad or good for the nation. Another couple of quick takeaways. The sovereign grant, which is the public funds which yearly funds the workings of the monarchy every year, is effectively doubling within 3 years. So from next year, it's going to cost just under £100 million a year. And that's because the royal trustees, so that's the Prime Minister, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Reeves and Starmer, and the Keeper of the Privy Purse, who works for the King, have decided the percentage of Crown Estate profits, which funds all of this, is going to increase to 20%. Now, they will say, there's lots of checks and balances that go involved. We're not just handing the King a blank cheque here. Nonetheless, it is a huge amount of money when lots of government departments are clearly struggling. And one just final thing to point out, Prince William, the £1.5 million he was criticised for of taking taxpayers' money from the Ministry of Justice for leasing out Dartmoor Prison, he doesn't want that money anymore. He is going to give it back to the community, and I suspect we're going to see more and more of that going forward as the Prince continues his stewardship of the Duchy of Cornwall.
You see, what I don't understand with this, where I get very confused, if we look at the chart behind you, Cameron, it's like, it just goes all in one big circle.
Yeah.
Does it? I mean, and part of the reason, he's not even forced to pay tax, is he?
No, he's not forced to pay tax.
So he's not required to pay tax, but he's still paying all this tax anyway.
Well, quite. So this dates back, and we're going to get a bit of history here. This dates back to the 1700s, where the King surrendered all of the Crown estate profits. It's a big portfolio of lands and properties around the United Kingdom, costing around, £1 billion worth of profits a year, roughly, as well as the seabed around the United Kingdom. All of that money, the King surrenders to the government to use for the public good. Now, in exchange, a percentage of that profit, the government pays back to the King to fund his official duties and those of the other members of the royal family. It's usually about 12%. That's from the Sovereign Grant Act of 2011. They've increased it slightly to 25% to cover the resurfacing of Buckingham Palace. It was initially going to go back down to 12%, but because the profits of a Crown estate are going down because the windfall from those wind farms on the seabed has now ended, and inflation, it's not going to be enough money to fund the workings of the monarchy, which is why the royal trustees, Prime Minister, Chancellor and Keeper of Privy Purse have increased that percentage of the profits to 20%.
Well, in that basis, are they not just paying for themselves?
Yes. Well, that is the argument that most people would put forward, that they are paying for themselves. It's it's public money. The King, of course, brings in millions in terms of... Tourism's quite difficult to quantify, so I never go on the tourism argument. But the soft power, I think a lot of people would say, is quite important to the UK. Just one quick example. Scottish whisky, for example. The King went to the United States for a state visit with President Trump. The President lifted whisky tariffs on Scottish whisky, meaning a massive £1 million boost to the Scottish economy and, by extension, the United Kingdom economy. And President Trump said on the record he wouldn't have done that unless the King had asked him to. The King effectively persuaded him to do so.
Right.
Okay.
Cameron, thank you very much indeed. Just to say, I mean, it's got you a bit torn. It's interesting because E. Young has messaged in saying Charles is a total disgrace. He should be at the palace living there. No morality, no loyalty, no respect. AM replied to that saying he should live where he likes. And Marilyn says there's no need for him to live there if he doesn't want to. So it's, you know...
He's lived at Clarence House since 2003.
2003.
Yeah, so I can understand why, if you're living with cancer, especially, you know, and you're an elderly man, you want to live where you lived for the last 23 years.
And house moves are very stressful.
One of the most stressful things you can go through.
Harry and Meghan coming to the UK in a couple of months, and he's got the added burden of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, his brother, to deal with.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'd be packing his own boxes, Cameron, if he was moving.
I suppose not.
To be fair.
Not. Yeah, true.
But no, I sort of think live where you like, and if it's still HQ, as it were, then fair enough.
Yeah, and Marilyn says exactly that. They're almost 80, let them live in comfort. Here we are.
Anyway, look, some developing news this morning. Mike Tapp. We've been talking about Mike Tapp this morning because he's the migration minister, so he works under the Home Secretary. He's in some hot water because he's got a piece in the Times this morning basically undermining what the Home Secretary is saying about leave to remain and how long you have to be in the country to get leave to remain under her new plans.
Well, there's been reports this morning that the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, was set to sack him for reportedly breaching the ministerial code. Well, he has since responded. He's posted this photo on X with this caption saying, OK, morning all. It's gone from he broke the ministerial code to he stole my idea. I've put my views across on a policy that I've been working on for months in an op-ed. I have the receipts in the Times. Give it a read and let's continue to discuss. I won't be intimidated to drop my views. Stay classy. Oh, and I'm in a wedding in San Francisco, but I'm happy to talk more when I'm back.
Yes. Oh, well, I mean, the argument about all of this really is, I mean, it might be something he really believes in, what he's doing, but is he just trying to establish his place in the Burnham government?
That's certainly what some people
think.
think.
Because he's undermining his boss. I mean, if she says she's not happy for that to be released. But anyway, the Home Office, meanwhile, same with that department, has revealed plans to use more former military barracks to house thousands of asylum seekers in its quest to shut down asylum hotels.
Well, GB News' national reporter Charlie Peters joins us live now from Bicester and can tell us more. Morning to you, Charlie.
Good morning to you both. Yes, 3 new military sites set to be converted to house asylum seekers, the majority of which, of course, complete that illegal crossing over the channel in small boat. I'm here by MOD Bicester. We are prohibited from filming the site under the National Security Act, but it is one of 3 sites that is set to be selected and has been earmarked by the Home Office for conversion. That will lead to some 3,750 asylum seekers being able to move into these sites. One here in Bicester, as I say, Barnham in Suffolk and Linton on Ouse in North Yorkshire, those MOD sites. Now here in Bicester, there are several sites attached to the MOD base. There are some 750 soldiers based here from the Royal Logistics Corps and also the Royal Engineers, but we understand the site that could be converted into asylum accommodation is in a separate location on a site that, again, I can't show you, but is adjacent to those areas, so it's not linked. Now, of course, there have been some 20,000 asylum seekers in hotels. 72,000 were in accommodation as they were awaiting decisions on their asylum applications. There has been a government push to close hotels and move them out of those facilities that are costing billions of pounds a year. The government is announcing another round of asylum hotels that they are closing now. That was on top of an announcement they made in April about other closures. But we have heard criticism from the Conservatives, the Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp saying that Labour should be putting illegal immigrants on a plane home rather than messing around with military camps and hotels. He's accused Labour of not doing what is needed to tear down the barriers to deportation, and without deportation, he says, there is no deterrent. That's a criticism of the government, that they're not doing enough at the root cause and indeed removing people once they're here. But we have heard from the Border Security and Asylum Minister Alex Norris saying that they're moving asylum seekers into these ex-military sites that are a far cry from the hotels, he says, that the last government left us with. He says this is a system being brought back under control, and they said they won't stop until the job is done. We've also heard about extensions to the sites in Wethersfield in Essex and also the site in Crowborough in Sussex. GB News has reported regularly on those locations, covering the anger from locals at those areas that suddenly converted into military, those military sites being converted into asylum accommodation. Wethersfield could be expanded to take in way more than was originally anticipated, and we have had a reaction today from Braintree District Council, learning that the Wethersfield site will remain operational beyond 2027 and permanently expand, they say, by 55%. And Councillor Tom Cunningham, who's the leader of Braintree District Council, said that they are bitterly disappointed that after 3 years, it appears it will now stay at this area for an indeterminate amount of time. They're also frustrated about the amount of warning they were given, being told that they were informed about this decision last night. So I can tell you that journalists were informed about this ahead of it being released on Wednesday. There was also anger in the House of Commons yesterday from the Conservative Shadow Minister Katie Lamb, who wanted to have a debate on it, and the Speaker of the House also said that it was unacceptable that the government had not brought it to the Commons for a debate. So anger about people not being told ahead of time in areas that it is affecting. I have approached the Home Office for comment on that particular concern this morning, and throughout the day here on GB News we'll be speaking to local residents in Bicester to get their perspective about what's likely to happen here at MOD Bicester, as we have done at Crowborough, Wethersfield, and of course Inverness, a site that we now know will not house asylum seekers who've crossed illegally on small boats.
OK, Charlie, thank you so much for bringing that to us.
You spotted Charlie's out there in the sunshine. It's going to be another scorcher of a day for most of the UK. We'll bring the latest on the forecast still to come.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Cates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray, are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now, they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Dordme, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome to Free Speech Nation with me, Josh Howard.
This is the show where each week we see what's happening in the world of culture, current affairs and politics.
First we'll say, welcome to the UK. Oh, thank you.
And we're not afraid to use our free speech so that you can use yours.
It's not controversial in the slightest to anyone who hasn't lost their mind.
Free Speech Nation, Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Some people enjoy lazy Sunday mornings, but not me.
What's the truth of the matter? So that's a very live question. Would you support him if he waters down these plans?
Before the spin sets in, I'll be getting to the truth.
This is personal.
No soft questions, no easy answers.
It's one thing if the state has rules in this country. It's another thing whether the police and others actually police them.
Setting the agenda and holding those in power to account.
You can't really blame her if the system is set up this way.
You will not want to miss it, trust me. The Camilla Tominey Show, Sundays from 9:30, only on GB News.
Now, I know the weather's very, very hot at the moment, but the Prime Minister is holding a Cobra meeting today. Seems a tad over the top to me, but anyway, what do I know? To coordinate the response to the heatwave.
Yes, the June heat record was broken yesterday, wasn't it? 36.7 degrees was the temperature reached in Somerset.
A red extreme heat warning was issued by the Met Office across parts of South and Central England and South Wales. It's been extended until 9 p.m. today. But if you're out there enjoying it, just be aware that there is a Cobra meeting because it's clearly a national disaster.
Oh, well, let's speak now to our national reporter, Will Godley, who joins us now. Morning to you, Will. It's set to be another scorcher today.
Certainly is. Good morning to both of you. It's already feeling incredibly hot. 29 degrees here in central London. This is Hyde Park, and the people in the park at the moment, many of them on their way into work, opting to avoid public transport because they want to try and get to work in the least hot way possible, walking or cycling through the park. Other people exercising in the park while it's a little bit cooler than it will be later on. Still, though, very, very hot, and some people walking their dogs now to get a walk in before it gets too hot. Although on the point of exercising, the chief executive of the London Ambulance Service warning people not to exercise outdoors today. That's after they received the most number of life-threatening calls ever yesterday, as, of course, London experienced such sweltering heat, as much of the country did. But I'm getting the impression from speaking to people this morning here, it's less about enjoying it today. We've had 2 days of incredibly hot temperatures. Now it seems to be about coping in this heat. One lady I spoke to, I said, "Are you enjoying the heat?" She said, "Is that rhetorical?" with a rather exasperated look on her face. Of course, it's not just been people enjoying the heat. It has caused a huge amount of disruption. Schools, nurseries closed, trains delayed or cancelled. And we've also seen wildfires as well. Of course, the big wildfire blazing is in Derbyshire, in the Tintwistle Moor, 500 square metre section there. Firefighters continuing to deal with that blaze. Elsewhere, further south in Kent, of course, 850,000 residents under a hosepipe ban. So although this warm weather is enjoyable for some, many dealing with the consequences as well, and many hospitals have declared critical incidents as they deal with this hot weather. And as you say, it's going to continue to be hot in London and the southeast today, still in that red extreme heat weather warning, as the Met Office say we could once again break the June temperature record. Of course, it wasn't broken for 50 years, and now it's been broken 3 times this week. And what scientists are saying is that 50 years ago, this heat wave would be far, far cooler. They say it would be virtually impossible, and that a similar heat wave to what it is now 50 years ago would be 3.5 degrees cooler, and the overnight temperatures are about 100 times more likely today than they are even 23 years ago. So scientists saying this is, they say, unequivocally driven by climate change, and the Met Office say these hot spells, well, they're going to be ever more likely.
Oh, does it all go to absolute chaos when the next team come in the studio?
Sorry, it was my fan. It was my personal fan. Yeah, I've got a personal fan because it just gets very hot in this studio.
Is that the King's one that you had the other day? It looks very similar.
No, but I have to do it myself rather than having the master of the household hold the fan for me to keep me from getting too hot. There you go, Miriam.
I am not going to hold the cameras. I'm appreciating the air conditioning in the studio this morning.
What have you got for us today?
Well, of course, we will be leading on the Royals. Cameron's got lots more to reveal about that. Going back to the barracks, asking is it appropriate to keep asylum seekers in these barracks? And it's Armed Forces Week next week.
It is indeed. This week, and Armed Forces Weekend continuing this weekend. We're going to be speaking to two veterans who fought together more than 20 years ago, lost touch, and have both decided to do separately a charity bike ride all the way to Belgium and then met up again. So it's a reunion all about veterans' mental health. So we're going to be talking to them about their story.
After the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Good morning, this is your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. And now it is going to be another exceptionally hot day for many of us, particularly across central and eastern parts. We have a red extreme heat warning out across parts of London area and towards the southeast of England. Then an amber warning across the Midlands into northern England and eastern England as well. Away from this, we do actually have a few thunderstorm warnings out currently across parts of England, Wales and also Northern Ireland, though here the thunderstorm risk will drop out through the next few hours. Across Scotland, however, the risk of thundery downpours continues through much of the day, and with those thunderstorms, we could see some large hail, gusty winds. Otherwise, it's actually looking largely dry for many of us by the afternoon. Lots of sunshine, and in that sunshine, temperatures rising. We're looking at highs in the mid to possibly high 30s towards the south and southeast. Further west, it may be a little bit fresher than it has been recently, a bit more comfortable, a bit more cloud and a fresher breeze as well. Into the evening, and it's staying pretty unsettled across much of Scotland. Some hefty showery rain, especially around northern parts. This could be quite persistent, and there could be some rumbles of thunder mixed in with it as well. Also watch out for a few showers that could push into parts of the southeast. They could turn thundery overnight, but elsewhere a lot of dry weather. Towards the northwest, quite cloudy. Further south and east, clearer skies, but for most, well, in the southeast it is still going to be quite warm and humid. Further north and west, slightly fresher air, making it a bit more comfortable for sleeping than some recent nights. Still a few showers continuing in the southeast first thing tomorrow morning, but these should clear away. And then we have a bit of a northwest-southeast split. Cloudier, cooler, a bit of rain towards the northwest, further south and east looking drier with a greater chance of seeing largely sunny skies. Still pretty hot in the east as well. Not quite as hot as it has been, but nonetheless we're expecting temperatures here to get into the low 30s Celsius. Further north and west, mid to high 20s.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. The M8 remains restricted eastbound between Junction 4 and Junction 3A due to flooding on the carriageway. In Hertfordshire, a broken down vehicle has closed one of 4 lanes on the clockwise M25 between